Now, the Supreme Court is hearing two cases today that could determine the future of what we see in social media. At issue is whether states can limit how tech companies censor content on their platforms. ABC's Derek Dennis has that story.
This morning, a crucial question takes center stage at the Supreme Court. How far can the government go in regulating political content on social media? The justices will hear arguments today about whether two laws passed in Republican-run states are constitutional, one from Florida, the other from Texas. The Florida law bans tech companies from suspending the accounts of political candidates. The Texas law makes it illegal for tech companies to remove political content based on someone's viewpoint, even if it's hate speech. Supporters of these laws say social media platforms have been censoring users, especially those with conservative or religious views. But tech companies argue they have a right under the First Amendment to set their own standards to prevent misinformation.
It's about government, in this case, Republican government, forcing a private platform to say something it doesn't want to say. It would be like the government going into Chipotle and telling them that they have to serve hamburgers because people want hamburgers.
Restaurants don't have an expressive right to exclude Black people or Jewish people from their restaurants because they want to make a point. Similarly, the platforms, which again the Supreme Court has called our public square, can't exclude people they don't like to make some obscure and not quite clear expressive point.
Both laws would allow tech companies to be sued for violations. The lawmakers in Florida and Texas say they're trying to regulate the business actions of tech companies, not their freedom of speech.
Derek Dennis, ABC News.
And this case could have far-reaching implications, from what you see about the presidential election to even how spam is regulated. The justices are expected to issue that ruling by this summer.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness. And I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
I've been indicted more than Alphonse Capone, the great guy. It's true. I got indicted. My parents are looking down. They're saying, I never thought this could happen to my son. He's been indicted. I didn't know what the hell the word, and it all took place instantly. If I fly over a blue state, the next day I get a federal grand jury notice, please report. And they indicted me on bullshit. It's all bullshit. Crazy.
Come on, man. Let's do something that really cooks. Something that really cooks. All right.
All right. All right, this is an oldie, but, well, it's an oldie where I come from. All right, guys, listen, this is a blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
In order to be a part of my live shows, you're going to have to go to the front of my YouTube channel. Look in upcoming live streams or shows that are coming along. You should see 1 or 2 shows that are set up at the moment. Sometimes there'll be 3 or 4. Once you see that, you click on the show that you want to be a part of, look at the date and time on it. Once you click, you're going to see the broadcast window with the show. And it's going to have a notification, the date and time, and if you look over in the comments, you're going to see the public link. Now, if you click the public link, you're going to enter into the show, and it's going to ask you to set up your microphone and webcam. Now, you don't have to use your webcam. You can simply click the button that has a camera icon, turn it off, and make sure you mute your microphone when you do come on the show so you're not bringing reverb and feedback and noise effects on other people while they're chatting. It's the considerate thing to do. Also, if you want to support my work, my content, you can do so by going into the links in my description and using Cash App, PayPal, or you can buy some t-shirts or many products I have in my merchandise store. I use Rumble video sharing. That's where myself as well as many friends hang out. We upload videos, and we also do copies of my live streams that go to YouTube as well as Rumble. Unfortunately, YouTube gives us a lot of trouble, and we have to sometimes edit our videos and our shows and all that, but the full versions can always be found on Rumble as well as my radio station. In case in the future YouTube were to remove me as well as many other YouTubers out there, you can find us on Rumble, and you'll also find me on my international radio station. And my radio is pretty cool. I have over 1,000 episodes, solo work, me talking about many different topics, as well as the live streams. Anything that I do on YouTube, on someone else's podcast, or my own, will always be found on the radio.
Risk my soul, test my life for my head. Spend my time lost in space. Am I dead? Who let the river flow through my callous hands and take me from my own the eyes of the dead? It makes my stomach turn. It tears my flesh from bone. We turn the tree into stone, and we all die young. Who tell me I know I live so afraid. Then still we cry alone, words left unsaid. It makes my stomach turn, and it tears my flesh from bone. We turn the tree into stone, and we all die young. And we all
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brett Keane, and you're watching and listening to the Brett Keane Show with my co-host, Lucifer. Oh. So how's your day been, guy?
Oh, it's been doing good. It's been doing good. How about yours? Hey, who was that singer? She looked yummy, very lickable.
It's just a young lady that does covers every once in a while, and I thought that was good.
Definitely. Definitely nice eye candy. Anyways, how you doing, man?
Well, it's actually been it was going pretty good. I was playing some Starfield and all that, but unfortunately my wife and I, we had a problem with our air conditioned heating machine. It just went out.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out if there's an easy way to fix it or if it's going to cost us an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. You know it.
Yeah.
But hey, go
ahead.
If tonight's topic proves to be true, you can actually go back in time to before it craps out and set aside a nice little chunk of change behind your mailbox for you to use that to pay it off.
Well, the problem is you can go back 50 years and I still won't have the money. Well, there's that.
Time travel is a finicky thing. I'd say just go check, and maybe who knows? Maybe somebody left you some money. Hey,
what's up, everybody? Hello, welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's on the whole time. I didn't even know. Hello.
Yeah, and everybody can hear you.
It's a Dark Side Phil reference.
Well, every once in a while, I always put some questions aside that people want to ask me and all that. And this is one of the most important ones I get asked all the time. If there is a God, then why is there so many hungry people in the world? And here's my answer.
God's an asshole.
That's basically avocado.
Sorry, God's an asshole.
Well, he is actually. Yes.
Was that rough?
I didn't even get to read that. What was that again? Can you throw that back up?
You didn't get to see that? Here we go.
No, I was too busy being funny. The type of atheist that wonders why God hasn't put food on enough food on the earth for all people. Yeah, that's about the deal with it.
I had to say something. That guy is basically Nick Avocado in a nutshell.
That's rough.
You said nut.
Nut. Someone busted a nut over there or what?
So people probably seen the title and they're like, what? Astrophysicist did what?
Yeah, I actually have the article up. I can share it with people if people want me to, and we could all read it together.
Well, if you'd like.
Cool.
All right, well, let me go ahead and
just making sure my trap app is fucking up.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be one epic night.
All right, so I was actually reading it. Yes, I know it's hot. 100 gates of Hades.
Whoa, easy on the coffee right there. It's hot.
That's
ooh,
like some good
Hellraiser.
Oh yeah.
That is actually pretty hot, cup. I need to let it cool down.
Careful there. I don't want you to bring your hands on me. All right, let's
All right. All right. Can everybody see the screen? So
I can see the screen.
Remember to mute mics whenever not speaking. That way we don't get feedback.
All right. So we can actually go ahead and see this. It says astrophysicist claims to be close to building a time machine. He actually, I've been reading through the article. He has not built the time machine. He says he has most of what he needs, but the most important thing is that he says that it's most likely not going to happen during his lifetime. However, he's figured out the scientific equations and principles which will render it capable of being done. So shall we read through this and comment on it? It's from the Jerusalem Post.
Sure, let's hear about it.
Sure thing, I want to hear about it.
All right, so astrophysicist claims to be close to building a time machine. Professor Mallet spent his life researching time travel in order to be able to go back and visit his dead father. Now he claims he invented a time machine. Well, I just showed that that's actually just clickbait right there. He didn't invent the time machine. But you know who supposedly actually did make a time machine? Anybody?
Who?
Doc Brown.
Oh yeah.
Right, Doc Brown.
Well, actually, no. H.G. Wells. H.G.
I
Wells supposedly actually built a time machine. He had the designs for it, and that's what he based his story, The Time Machine, off of. It was his principles, and supposedly, rumor has it, he actually did build the time machine, and that is how so many of H.G. Wells' stories seems to connect so very well with actual events in history. I mean, you remember he wrote 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and he was talking about a nuclear submarine there. Well, I mean, and it was literally a nuclear submarine. He was literally using the language nuclear fission, if I remember correctly, in his story. And he was talking about all sorts of things in his stories, and it was really interesting because in the time machine, the story of the time machine actually comes forward in time, and he starts describing our time frame very close to what it is now. And not exactly, but very close to what it is now. And he went into the future and he started describing the future. So there's a lot of people who believe H.G. Wells actually did build a time machine and that he buried it somewhere.
There's also a belief, I forgot all about this, but supposedly Tesla came up with a time travel machine, and according to theory or lore on this, Elon Musk or Donald Trump actually owns it, and Barron actually used it. Have you ever heard that before?
I've never heard that Elon Musk and Trump own it. I've heard that Tesla was pretty close to a time machine as well. Wasn't he also a friend with H.G. Wells? Didn't they live at the same time?
Not sure, but you want to look up an old book that's a couple hundred years old called The Dawn, and it talks about a president named Donald who's going to come forth with a son named Barron who's going to travel back in time. It's a 200-year-old book, and there's videos all over the place about it.
Oh, wow. I'm going to check that book out. Send me a link to that thing. All right. So what this says is let's go ahead and read through this. That way we can move beyond. It doesn't look like it's too, it's okay. So it's a slightly longer article. I'm not going to go through the whole damn thing, but let's go ahead and read through some of it. It says, you won't need to get a DeLorean from Back to the Future, but maybe something similar is on the way. Professor Ron Mallett believes that he has found the equation to make time travel possible, even if it is highly unlikely to happen during his lifetime. The researcher believes he finally cracked the code which will enable time travel after he had a revelation while being hospitalized. Ronald Mallett, an astrophysicist who dedicated most of his adult life to proving that time travel is possible, found scientific equations and principles with whose help he says it will be possible to build a real functioning time machine. Okay, so here's my big question, guys. I've actually, my dad, he was a mathematician. He went to the University of Glasgow and several other universities, and he's worked on time travel equations before during his time frame. And one of the big things he always stated to me is, yes, time travel is possible. We have the mathematical equations that proves it is possible. However, he said it is impossible to move forward in time, but you can move backwards in time along your own lifeline. Supposedly, this is mind you, this is my dad talking. That you can move backwards in time along the lifeline that you are to a younger you. So you'd have to inhabit the body of a younger yourself, a younger you. What are you guys' take on this? You can only travel back in time to a younger version of you.
Well, usually the theory is that if you were to run into a doppelganger or a version of yourself at a different age, it would cause all reality to unfold on itself. A catastrophic event would happen.
Paradox.
If you ran into yourself. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. How would you run into yourself if you are inhabiting that body?
Oh, you're saying somehow your future self goes into your younger self?
You have your future consciousness, you as you are now. According to my dad and the mathematics that he was always talking about, the you from now could feasibly time travel back to a younger version of yourself with all of your knowledge intact, and it would be you from now in that body, in that younger body.
Well, the only, unfortunately, whether it's internal or external, you ever heard the term of, you ever heard that question, would you go back in time to kill baby Hitler? Have you ever
Yeah.
heard that philosophy?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, you know what happens if
All of
someone
us.
were to go, you know what would happen if somebody did go back in time and kill Hitler as a baby, right?
You'd wipe out so many people in modern time because how many soldiers met their wives and their loved ones during that war? How many soldiers met their sweethearts who were their nurse or whatever? You know, how many other people would be alive today? You'd completely rewrite history.
You'd also completely put yourself out of existence, because what was the reason why you even used a time machine in the first place? To go back and get Hitler. Now that you've killed Hitler, he's no longer a problem, so your future self becomes non-existent.
Exactly. Or possibly non-existent.
There's only one way I think that because I see a lot of Christians out there saying, I don't believe in time travel, it's too crazy. But if you actually believe in an entity that is outside of time, then you have to believe in some form of time travel, that something can actually exist outside of time from beginning to end and actually be able to interact.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if I personally had the ability to go back in time and see it, and change something in history, I don't think I would change anything. I think I would be very careful, me personally, because I don't want, like you said, wipe myself out of existence. Now, what I wouldn't mind doing is going just far enough back in time to get the Powerball numbers for like the past 10 years or so, and make sure that I'm set up for life by the time I come back into the present. But that's just me.
Well, Veckel says out here, he says, let's see. He says, I don't see God as traveling time. He's simply eternal. He has access to the past, present, and future. Well, I mean, Veckel, if you read the story of Joshua, what did he do? He froze the entire universe in the sun. He froze it all in place, like he paused a simulation or a game in order for an act or experience to happen. I'm just
I'm going to counter that by saying, if God is so powerful where he can stop all time, freeze it in place, or he's omnipresent in all instances, then how is it he couldn't find Abraham's wife in a tent when he went to visit him just before destroying Sodom and Gomorrah? How is it that he suddenly couldn't see Adam and Eve after they ate the fruit of knowledge?
That's a good point.
How is it that he didn't know what Satan was up to at the beginning of the book of Job?
It also kind of contradicts that it is basically time travel right there if he sees the past, present, and future.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. If you can see all points in time simultaneously and interact with him, that is a form of time travel.
Well, I think he's a Calvinist, so that's why he says that.
Yeah.
Are you saying God's a Calvinist there, Mr. Darth?
No, I'm saying Beckel is a Calvinist.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Darth? I didn't even see you come in. I can't even see my screen right now.
I think I'm at the bottom.
Well, shouldn't Beckel believe more in time travel than anybody, because he believes everything's predetermined, so everything's set on a time track.
Yeah, that's why I critiqued him for, because like if you're gonna say God can see into the future and see whatever, if I was rolling dice and God saw into the future and saw the outcome of that future, well then that means that that is a deterministic event. It is determined that I will roll the dice.
Well, there you go. Mr. Lucifer, have you ever, since it's obvious that you're very interested in time travel, and so am I, have you ever looked online at some of the videos where they've taken pictures or photographs of events that have happened where some piece of technology or some person...
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You'll see somebody with what appears to be a cell phone. And it's not just pictures. They actually have archaeological artifacts of there's one thing that looks like it's a cell phone. It's an ancient cell phone, they say. They claim it. And you can actually look it up, and it's really crazy looking. It has all the buttons. It looks almost like a BlackBerry or one of the older cell phones where you pulled out the antenna or something. And yeah, it's completely petrified. And it's from like hundreds of years ago. Thousands, I think.
Well, you've heard all the claims, Mr. Lucifer and Darth. You've heard that supposedly the biblical God is able to see beginning and end, see our death before it even happens, prophesize about the future. The only way you'd be able to do something like that is if you actually experience that event before it happened, right?
Well, here's the problem. Here's the main problem with that. Let's say God did could see into the future and see my death whenever it's going to happen. This means I also am God, because now this now gives me a deity. I am now eternal. Though I might be eternally in the future, I'm still eternal in some image form.
Ooh, snaky.
Yeah,
That's a very interesting.
By the way, Lucifer, my father's over, and he may end up having to turn the power off for a moment.
Well, you might want to give me admin abilities to go ahead and keep the show running if that happens.
Oh, Vega's going to come in. So, I mean, do you guys... The main problem with time travel is that you first have to presup there is a time dimension, and that's the thing they haven't proven. What these sneaky scientists are really doing is appealing to what's it called? It's not time. It's, they have a word for it. I'm so forgetful right now. It'll come back to me.
Looks like we lost Brett.
Yeah, for now.
Don't
worry, we'll keep this place entertained for a while.
I don't know. So think about it this way. Let's say there's a whirlpool, right? The closer you are to the whirlpool, the faster you go. The further away you are from the whirlpool, the slower you go. And you see this with our planetary system as well. If you were to take a human, bring it closer to the sun, you'll age faster. You take that person, move it further away from the sun, they age slower. But this is not time travel. This is just centrifugal divergence.
Yeah.
And it's that basic concept of physics applied consistently.
Well, the notion is that this guy, he claims that he figured it out to actually be time travel. Or what I read further on in the article, and he says what he can do is he's figured out, utilizing these mathematical equations, on how to use a ring of lasers to literally open a doorway in time.
Open a doorway. Because, so that means to open a doorway in time, which mean to open a doorway into this time dimension. But he's presupposing this time dimension, and he needs to provide the justification that this time dimension even exists, in the same way, length and width and height exists in our 3D dimension.
Well, if he's figured it out, he doesn't need to prove anything unless he wants to keep it to himself, right?
Well, no.
I mean, I would honestly say if he's figured it out, then he should build the device. He should build the device himself, then present it to the world. I'm sorry, if you have a device,
that would be.
If you have a device that can time travel, show the world, because until you actually present the actual device to the world, no one's going to believe you. Take a look what Elon Musk did when he made VTOL rockets, rocket engines that could be harvested or returned to Earth safely to be reused instead of just disposed of upon launch. No one believed that it was even possible until one day we saw one of the damn things lowering legs like out of something like old school Flash Gordon, and the damn things were landing perfectly fine.
Yeah, but that's rocket science. And rocket science is, I would say leagues below, manipulating time. It's not even the same game league.
Probably not, but it's, anything can be dumbed down. I mean, take a look 100 years ago. 100 years ago, do you think how we're communicating now would have been
No, they
considered
wouldn't.
possible, even remotely possible?
It right now it doesn't seem highly possible. But there was a guy named Chuck Missler who used to be a part of the Calvary Chapel, and he would actually touch on stuff very close to this. I even remember him saying one day that there were some physical attributes to time. Somehow, I forgot how he explained it. He used a lot of big words that I don't know. But he also mentions about
I love how people like to use big words to
Yeah.
confuse people.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. He was a good guy. Good guy though. He was a good guy. And he talked. One of the things that stuck in my head when he talked about UFOs. So you ever wonder how you see these flying objects just kind of zip back and forth and make these hard turns without any, uh,
Yeah.
struggle or anything. He said he supposes that could be, demonic interdimensional travel. So it's kind of, it looks like it's making these hard angled turns.
Cue the
but
doom music.
Yeah, but from us, it's it could be, and he's just conjecture. He's just speaking out of conjecture. He said, "What if when it's making those hard turns, it's actually dipping in and out of our realm, and when it's reappearing, it's in a different angle, kind of thing, making it look like it's from our eyes. It looks like it's making a hard L-shaped turn or that kind of thing."
What I
So I
think
don't
is
know.
happening. What I think.
That's interesting. I would say more though. It's not really dipping in and out of our realm. More along the lines of it would be bending the very fabric of reality.
Yeah.
Lucifer,
Yeah,
have
the
you
way he
ever
explained it
heard of
made more
the,
sense.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Have you guys ever heard of the CERN organization? Some of the
Yeah.
theories about that?
Yep.
SETI and CERN, yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
they're
they
just doing.
Go
They're
ahead.
just they're just doing what they've been doing since like the 1930s. Hadron colliders, these particle colliders have been around since like a long time, since like the 30s. It's nothing new that they're doing.
What are they for though? What are
Except
those?
for the fact that they just what was it, 2-3 years ago, they replicated the Big Bang.
Replicate the Big Bang. How
Yep.
so?
They had a particle collider going and they cleared it out of everything. And they caused a Big Bang to actually happen inside the particle collider. They actually replicated it. You can actually look this up and read it. There's an article about it.
What they're doing is taking waves and colliding them with other waves. And they call these the peaks of the waves is what they're calling the particle, quote unquote particles.
Well, my big question is the actual article was using the term Big Bang. Now, to me, when somebody says they managed to replicate the Big Bang, that means that they had to replicate the exact conditions that the Big Bang were in. If there was particles or waves or anything going on at that time, then would that not kind of neutralize the argument that wouldn't that neutralize the argument that there was nothing in the void before the Big Bang, that there was actually something?
Well, here's the thing. You have to kind of answer the question, well, what is a wave? A wave is what something is doing. And so you have to ask, what exactly are they colliding in this hadron colliders? Because they'll just tell you, oh, it's field particles. And you ask them, well, what is a field? And this is just vector points on space. They're not actual physical. They're just vector points. They're literally just imagining numbers they plot on space. But they're not actually answering what is it they're colliding.
I know from a Christian standpoint, it would still prove that there was sentience behind it.
Well, anything can be argued that there's sentience behind it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the real thing is the real argument shouldn't be whether or not something was sentient or intelligently done or not. It should be prove that it wasn't. Until you prove it wasn't, then there's no point in arguing about it. It's one person's perspective and to the other. It's both.
Yeah, that was just a
It's
side note.
Schrodinger's cat. It's
We're
Schrodinger's
not talking
cat,
about that. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, no, I know that's just a side note, kind of a little jab at the
Yeah, I know.
at the atheists that don't believe in you know, the existence of God and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about time travel, you know, my question would be, okay, you know, exactly how would that play out? I mean, and I mean, I have so many questions. If time travel is actually true, somebody's actually discovered a way to travel time. There's so many questions, you know, and many of them would be based off of things we learned from the movies and in the books and stuff. You know, you already answered one question. You said that your conscious you would be transported into the younger body of
Yeah,
yourself, right?
yeah.
So it wouldn't be two
My
of you.
dad used to explain that you cannot go past your own birth.
Right. So that's one question, and that seems to make sense. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, we don't have any proof of anyone actually traveling time. We have speculation.
There's been plenty of people who've claimed that they've done it, and like that show or mentioned earlier, we have pictures of people, you know, actual historical pictures where it would appear somebody's talking on a cell phone, and it's like in the 1930s or even the late 1800s. And then we have and
Now,
you know,
I wanted to ask about that too.
yeah, you can actually look this up too.
Yeah.
You have artifacts that are being discovered with what appears to be modern equipment in them. You know, it's really weird. Like I said, there's one that actually looked like a cell phone. There's another one where it's like a bolt, what appears to be a modern day bolt, and it's like in a petrified state. I can't really describe it unless I pull up the pictures. And yeah.
Well, see that would be my thing, right? I mean, now with 2024, people, all kinds of people have access to these apps. You know, like you could get like a free version of Photoshop and all these other type of things. And sometimes people who are just insidious, they just want to start either to be famous, or they just want to watch people go nuts. They'll deliberately make these types of images in order to cause controversy or conversation. So my other question would be, okay, how do we know that these images of, oh, that looks like Nicolas Cage using a cell phone back in the 1920s? How do we know that that wasn't something that was designed in Photoshop? I mean, you can just go on any AI program right now and make an image like that. I mean, it's harder now in the 2000s than it was maybe back in the 80s and the 90s, to believe that these things are genuine and real and authentic.
Exactly. You're exactly right. I mean, with, like you said, you pointed out AI, the ability to deep fake with Photoshop.
Yeah.
I use Affinity Photo. I also have GIMP. I have all these art programs. I worked in Photoshop for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
And, the insanity of what can be done. We have, even apps, like you pointed out, apps and software that are coming out that's allowing just your average Joe, just like one of us, to go out and make, theatrical quality movies. We could literally go out with our buddies and film a movie on nothing more than a damn cell phone. This is the case to my cell phone because I use it as a camera. On a bloody cell phone, to create a movie that's of the same quality as a Disney Avengers movie. And it could be full of all the same special effects.
I was going to say,
That could be one. Oh,
I
sorry.
do believe that there could be a possibility for it, but you do realize that if at any point, whether it's in the future, someone invents a time machine or whatever, this is going to change time as we know it. It means that everything from past, present, future no longer exists. Everything's pretty much just a slot or a location where you go. It's no longer like an experience that is felt linear. We'd have a lot of butterfly effects. Have you ever seen the Butterfly Effect movie to get kind of an idea?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, great movie. Yeah.
This is my main contention with time travel, because if there is time travel, you can kiss logic goodbye. Because what is to say somebody, let's say, I moved the cup, and then it would be logical. Like, well, did I move it? Well, it would be logical that I did because you know what I did. But let's say Beck went back in time and then he moved the cup. Well, now the logic has changed because the fact has changed.
I'm not sure I'm
Exactly,
following you.
yeah.
What do you mean the logic would change?
He's talking about string theory. Basically, like what Brett said, the butterfly effect. If multiple people are going back to the same instance in time,
Mhm.
and they interact with the exact same thing, supposedly in the same moment, they can create a different string in time.
Right. Oh, okay, I got you.
Time
And
paradox.
you got to kind of imagine too,
So
what would
that's
be the desire or ambition to time travel anyway? Some of the
Yeah.
first things you'd want is like Lucifer said, he'd want to win the lotto. Well, some people would want to go back in time and save someone they loved or they cared about, or they'd want to save themselves from a traumatic event that fully changed their life. But what if that traumatic event actually led to next week where you meet your woman for the first time because of the traumatic event, or someone you loved and you lose them completely? You went left instead of right. It's that easy to just screw it all up.
yeah, because the fact now would no longer be the fact. Somebody went back in time and changed that fact. So facts would no longer be facts.
What about the
Exactly. It would be like if I went back in time and I actually got on that bus to go to Vatican to train for, to train. That would have led me completely down a different path. I wouldn't be a satanic priest. I'd be a Catholic priest now. I wouldn't be with the woman that I love. I would probably be celibate. The whole
I'd be a
thing.
drifter, basically. And after all, I wouldn't even be here anyway. If he became a Catholic priest, I wouldn't even be in here.
What do you mean?
I don't think any of us would be sitting here if that had happened.
Probably not.
Yeah, because you basically pulled
One
the
simple move, Lucifer, and no loving, touching, and squeezing.
Yeah, because you basically pull the rug under reality at that point. Because you could just go back in time and be God and be the ultimate.
Well,
Yeah.
here's another
Like
instance.
Biff.
This would.
Like Biff from Back to the Future.
I was just watching Back to the Future last night.
I love that movie. That's classic.
That movie is gold. Hell yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Brett, you better tell these guys. Don't get me started talking about movies. You know me.
Oh, it's all
These-
good. We
these-
love
I think we
comics
all like
and
movies.
Yeah, we
As
love
long as
comics
Mole
and
movie.
I think one of the big things that we would have to be very careful about if time travel became an actual thing, there would have to be, we've seen movies where there are time police, officers that monitor incursions into the space-time continuum. That would have to become a reality. And there would have to be destinations in time that would have to be off limits. Things that happened that we need in order to have happen in order to keep our reality stable. One of those things, and that this is a moment in time, every Christian would want to go back and see the crucifixion of Christ.
Yeah.
It's a canon event.
Exactly. What would happen if time travel occurs, if it turns out to be real, and some asshole goes back and they save Christ? Or even worse, they kill him as a kid.
I was just gonna say, yeah, right.
What would happen if they saved him, if they prevented him from being crucified? What would that do for the entire Christian religion? Hell, what would that do for the satanic religion?
Well,
You
that's
know,
an
you're,
interesting question, but what I would wonder is, would Jesus be aware of the time traveler?
yeah. Well, the closest you got to that was that skit that was done on Mad TV many, many years ago. That was hilarious, where the Terminator goes back into 30 BC or 30 AD
Yeah,
or
I remember
the time
that.
machine, and he's there. He's sent there specifically to protect Jesus, and he keeps killing people, and Jesus keeps raising him back up. He's like, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm here to protect you." He said, "I'm supposed to die. This is what I came here for." Why? He said, "Because that's part of my plan." Why? You gotta see it. It's funny.
Yeah, it's a good clip.
It's a stupid plan.
I love Odorny.
Reminds me of the Rick and Morty
And when he was put on the cross, it was funny. The skit ends with Jesus being put on the cross, right? And then Mary is standing next to the Terminator, and he says, "Don't worry, it'll be back."
Classic.
I didn't know if I should laugh at that or not. I don't know, but it was funny. I just couldn't help but to giggle.
Did you know Arnold made like movies in China that like never got a release over here?
Wow. No, I
What?
didn't.
Yeah,
Really?
it's a remake of a Russian film from like the 70s. It's called VIY. It's a definitely must watch. I think it's like 2 movies. Pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, then.
What was Arnold? Here's a bit of pop quiz for you. What was Arnold Schwarzenegger's first actual movie? This is the role that got him Conan, which was his breakout role.
I think it was
before
Hercules.
Conan. Hercules what?
Hercules
in New York.
in New York.
There you go.
But it
Hercules
wasn't his
in
voice.
Manhattan, yes.
They overdubbed his voice, and it looked ridiculous.
That was close.
That's actually pretty good. I mean, the fact that people actually remember that. Not a lot of people remember that.
That's,
From a 20-year-old,
that's
that's
proof of
impressive.
time travel. Somebody wanted to embarrass Arnold for all eternity, so they made him do that movie.
Hey, Arnold, go do that
And
fucking
then,
movie.
he actually did a series of time traveling movies.
He's done like quite a bit of time travel.
Terminator.
Is Total Recall, is that time travel?
No.
No, not even close.
No, that's like memory wiping and planetary travel. No, the only time travel series that Arnold has ever been in is the Terminator series.
Wasn't that an AI? Wasn't Skynet an AI? It was
Yeah.
using
Yes.
future technology.
It was an AI,
It's
yeah.
pretty fucking scary because Skynet's actually real.
Oh shit, we're fucked.
They actually have a very real Skynet, and it's called Skynet.
Well, get ready for Judgment Day. We're going to war.
I mean, last time they tried with have like a AI kind of just go rogue. It turned out to be racist. So I'm gonna have a racist Skynet.
Racist for basically saying the AI is going to take over the world. Wow, that's new.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you rather have a racist or sexist Skynet?
Oh shit, that's kind of difficult.
What would you guys rather have, a racist one or a sexist one?
Both are funny.
No, they'll both nuke the world.
Yeah, they'll just kill us all anyway. They don't care.
I missed the question. What was it?
Would you rather have a racist Skynet or a sexist Skynet?
I don't know. If I had only one choice, yeah. Oh man.
Hey, Missing Mod, in order to answer your question, you're looking at the Mark of the Beast on me. If we actually look at the Mark of the Beast, Brett, can you bring up Missing Mod's comment that I'm commenting on?
Let me see.
That way everybody can see what his question is. The Mark of the Beast is actually your skin color. Believe it or not. When we look at everything, Keane had to be given a mark that could be seen from a great distance away so people would not touch him. He had to look different from the people around him. When we look at the culture and the people around where Adam and Eve were supposedly settled, they would have all been of swarthy, darker skin color, usually black hair, dark eyes. But when we think about it, we look at how Lucifer is often described. Lucifer is described as being fair-skinned, blonde hair, blue eyes, very Aryan-esque. And so when we look at everything, we see that the mark of the beast would have most logically been a racial complexion.
Hi, Brett.
Hello, how you doing?
I just came in because we got one of your letters today, and I would like you to stop sending us letters.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye. We got a troll, obviously. Let's
I
see.
knew that was a troll right out of the way. Just saying. I knew
They're becoming more. More
I
they're
got a
getting-
letter from you. A letter, huh?
Oh yeah, I get letters from Brett all the time. Very, very hot and heavy, romantic letters.
Yeah, I've spoken to her before. She's the type of person that would open up the bag on her vacuum cleaner and sniff it like Coke. So I ain't got no interest in that.
Oh shit! You're sniffing up
Why do
hair.
you even let her in then, Brett?
I wanted to see if intelligence might win in the end, but it didn't. It failed. So I always give
You're a
everybody
glutton
a
for
chance.
punishment.
Brett tries to give everybody a chance.
Oh, that's a good hair. I
I
just
tried to give people a chance too, but at some point you gotta,
Yeah,
you
so
gotta,
he's way
you
for
gotta
Spider-Man.
knock it off.
Oh boy, it looks like Nick Bravo went in. So I know that this
Nick
is the real. Well, hold on.
Who's
If
Nick
this is
Bravo?
hold on, because he's got
Nick
a lot
Bravo?
of trolls. Hold on, he's got a lot of trolls, so it might be somebody playing a loop of his video. Do me a favor, if it's really Nick Bravo, give me the middle finger. That way I know it's really him. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him up. Hello, Nick. How you doing? We're
Hey,
talking
Brett,
time travel.
are you the
Wow,
one
look at
sending
that.
me all these love letters? Are you the
Yeah,
one
because
sending me
you're
all these
such a
love
pretty
letters?
man. You're such a pretty man. I just couldn't stop
What a
myself.
handsome
I-
boy.
Because
He's got a
they're
beard.
all-
He has a
they're
bloody
all
beard,
for
of course.
Saint Louis, Missouri.
He's gonna grow it out. He's gonna look like
They're
ZZ
all for
Top and
St.
sing
Louis,
about legs.
Missouri.
More like Gandalf the Grey.
Festus.
All right, Nick. Remember, I said if somebody's gonna troll me, they got to be fun. You're not. Bye bye.
This guy is just trying to be like Gandalf. This is basically an ugly version of Gandalf.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. We must have the short bus must have just come through and it's
I should
dropping
have been
everybody
on
off.
the show Friday because I roast that woman because she looks like an off-brand of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Damn, that's hateful. That's big.
But hey, last I heard, is Isabella and Nick dating? I heard
Who's
they were
that?
dating.
Boy, they would make some ugly pug puppies, wouldn't they? Ugh.
That's what I heard. Last I heard. I don't know. I don't keep up with stuff. So. Anyway,
Did you hear
Okay.
about it, Beckel? I don't know if you know this, but whenever Nick was a young person, his parents had to tie a pork chop around his neck just to get the pet dog to play with him.
Oh, fuck.
that's bad.
Jeez.
But
Then the
he-
dog leaves when it's
Pork
done.
chop.
I mean,
I'll eat that pork chop.
I mean, have you guys ever noticed that most of this time travel news stuff comes from like generally the atheist camp because they're really into the multi-universe, multi-world.
Well, that article was from the Jerusalem Press. It wasn't atheist. It was the Jewish camp.
Oh, I wanted to show Beckel something real quick. Beckel, look at this. Next time you get asked this predictable question, answer with this. Are you ready? Can you see it?
Yeah, the type of atheist that wonders why God hasn't put food on.
Isn't that horrible?
I am calling corporate.
Oh, look at this real
You
quick. Are you able to read that?
Yeah, I can see it. Atheists admit their disbelief linked to emotional discomfort. 72.
That's basically modern society in a nutshell.
There you go. Let's put this back on the screen now. Yay. Okay. Back to
Bang.
time travel.
Feelings are hurt, man. I'm canceling you on Twitter.
I've always I love movies and stories about time travel. I mean, almost every movie out there, almost every movie out there, you name it, I've seen it. Whether it's time travel, or whether it's deja vu type of stuff, whether it's Groundhog's Day type of stuff. I love movies that mess with time in some way, shape, or form. I love it. And if you guys got any suggestions, man, let me know because I love movies that mess with time.
Oh, I got a suggestion for you. And for some reason, this movie didn't get a lot of love. Great Time Travelers.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dog alert. Dog alert.
Yeah. Have you seen Time Traveler's Wife before?
Oh yeah, I saw it 2 times. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a rare one. I was just offering everybody.
I went back in time to see it again. Yeah. No, but yeah, it was a great movie.
I went back to 1985, saw Slayer for the first time. It was fucking awesome.
Oof. What about somewhere in time with old Christopher Reeves who played Superman?
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that once
Time After
a
Time.
long time
Isn't
ago.
that-
So I'm at to watch it again.
No,
'Cause I don't
Lucifer is
remember.
called Somewhere in Time. It's got Christopher Reeves in it, the guy who plays the old Superman.
Yeah, it's an
Now,
old
what
movie.
was Time After Time about? Because I thought that was the name of the movie. I know the movie you're talking about. I've seen it with Christopher Reeves.
Yeah, isn't there a movie called Time After Time?
I heard of a song by what was a Cyndi
Cyndi
Lauper,
Lauper.
Time After
Yeah.
Time, but I don't think I've seen a movie.
I'll see if I can find it. Hang on.
There's also Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, the 1991. They all
I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time.
Have you watched Quantum Leap? That's a show about time travel.
I couldn't get into that show when it was on. I just couldn't get into it. But
Yeah, it's
I
80s.
heard some people liked it.
Yeah, it's a bit dated, I'd say, but the concept's good.
Yeah, but there was no closure in that show. That really made me sad. That's why I don't like TV shows, because the series always end without finishing it up.
Yes, there is a Time After Time movie. And now
Yeah,
I know
who's in
why I remember it. It's from 1979. And it follows, ironically, H.G. Wells coming forward in time, chasing Jack the Ripper.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one, but yeah, it's got
a
Malcolm
good one. I remember it. And let me see who was in it.
Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell as H.G. Wells.
Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah. And
David Warner.
I believe he was Jack the Ripper, Stevenson. And what it was about was H.G. Wells is throwing a party at his house, and he's planning on catching Jack the Ripper at his house. But Jack slips away and finds Wells's time machine and comes forward in time. And then the time machine recalls back to Wells's time, and Wells follows him. And they're in they go from, this also brings into play another interesting thing, because they leave London, because they were in London or Boston or wherever that was at, and they come forward in time and they arrive in Seattle, modern day, or 1979 Seattle, Washington. So it's really interesting there. And it shows that not only, if you're going to time travel, you've got to be very, very careful, because the Earth's position in space moves. Our solar system in the galaxy moves. The galaxy itself moves. So if you, like, say you want to go forward in 100 years and open a doorway to, where your living room is going to be, you need to calculate literally the movement of the cosmos in order to open up that doorway properly.
That was the problem with Back to the Future with the whole mobile time travel machine. If you went flying around, you don't know if whenever you come out in whatever time period you do, if there's going to be a mountain in front of you or a cliff.
Right.
Or you'll find yourself in solid granite.
Or hit somebody.
Well, also Ninja Turtles 3. It actually touches on this, that the Earth has to be occupying the exact same space where they are time traveling to. So literally in Ninja Turtles 3, what it's basically saying is feudal Japan and Manhattan were occupying the exact same location in time when they time traveled.
Oh, that's right. They never went
I
from.
didn't even think about, Veckel, about if you time traveled, since the Earth is constantly spinning around the sun, you might end up out in the middle of the damn universe. That's something I didn't even think about.
Well, I think Ninja Turtles 3 did actually solve that problem, because remember, it used the time scepter. You had to have that in both locations. That would negate the necessity for the calculations of the position of the Earth or cosmos, because it it would be kind of like two cans connected by a string.
Right. Right.
So you'd have something, an anchor at both points. I think that would actually probably be the only logical way that time travel could feasibly work. You would have to have something anchoring both points in time.
That's interesting.
Kind of like the whole Neil deGrasse Tyson, you have to build a road first. Like the
Yeah, and how would you do that if no one's ever, if you're the first person to travel back in time, where would you end up? You never know, right?
You could build the device. But
once you travel back, you're saying
your first trip would be a crapshoot.
Right.
Literally, your first trip would have to be a complete crapshoot. So you'd have to know. It'd be like Stargate. This guy, he's saying that with lasers and everything, he can open up a doorway. Well, literally, that would have to be Stargate, because he would have to punch in the astronomical calculations of where he wants that doorway to open in the past.
Yeah.
And then what you could do is you could open up that doorway, take all the materials and equipment and whatnot that you need to back in time, build the device in the past. That way, by the time everything catches up to the future, that device is already there. You can connect to that device.
Because I don't think you could actually, punch a hole into the time dimension. Because again, you're starting with the presupposition there is a time dimension, but I do think you can punch a hole into a different dimension, a dimension of which might be the supernatural, and that you could, basically break the veil.
See, that makes more sense to me. Because I do, obviously, I do hold to the position of the supernatural realm, and I think that seems to be more realistic than the time traveling thing.
Well, it's like what Mystic Mod just asked me. Yes, I have to astral projected. It's something you have to train at, and it is meditation. But the punching holes through anything, whether it's an astral realm, the fabric of time, just think about the mathematics involved with that. I don't care if it's magical or not. Math is the constant of the universe.
Well, yeah, it's just descriptions of the universe, so they're just describing what's going on.
Yeah, but it's still one of the constants. If you don't understand math, you don't understand anything.
But there's got to be some physical attribute to time. Then, I mean, would you agree?
No.
In order for one to travel back in time, I mean, that's something that you.
Well, let's look at the ancient legends about time.
There's got to be some physicality to it, if that's possible.
Let's look at the Greek fates. You remember the legends about the fates, right?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
So the fates were these three women, okay? And these women could calculate a person's life, and it was on a string, a thread of life. They could calculate on that thread of life major events that was going to occur, how long that thread was going to persist, and when it was going to end. And when its time was up, they would snip it with some shears. This is literally the legend of the three fates.
But wouldn't that be more or less taking an educated guess based off of exhaustive knowledge of things that's present? I mean, that's not literally that doesn't sound like somebody's having the access to going back in time to see future events and then make these predictions or have the ability to change it. It just sounds like to me somebody's looking at something in the present and they're at the very best making accurate predictions of something that could possibly happen, but not necessarily making these decisions based off of something they've experienced in the past, by going back into the past. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like to me. I mean,
know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to see something like, again, like Back to the Future. Somebody's able to go back into the past. They're able to bear witness to the things that happen. And, I highly doubt that any human being would not have a desire to change something in the past. I just don't believe it. I just think it's outside of human nature to not do it.
Yeah, because
all humans would
I
want to
agree.
change.
Yeah, we would all do something to change the past.
Yeah.
We would all want to do something. We would have that desire. It's
Yeah.
only it would only be somebody probably from our time frame who's watching up these fucking movies to know that maybe changing shit in the past is not a good idea.
It was just creating another timeline, basically.
But that's another problem.
That's another,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's another, you're talking about paradoxes, multiple paradoxes, multiple dimensions. When we literally, there is, and I believe I mentioned on the show before, there is a mathematical equation. Anything that can happen does happen. Anything that can be thought of exists. So if you stop and think about that, that means anything that can happen. You flip a coin. You pick up a coin right now and flip it in the air. In one timeline, you catch coin its head. Another timeline, you catch coin its tails. Another timeline, you miss the coin entirely and it lands on its edge on the table in front of you. So you think about all these different things, and all of them happen in the same instance. And the other part of that same equation states that I just said those different things. Now all of them have happened simultaneously. Think about that.
Lucifer, have you ever heard of the arrow of time theory?
Not particularly, no.
Oh, you might find this actually interesting. I think Vic will get tickled by it too. The theory is that if there were to be a parallel dimension multiverse, that there could actually be a universe that acts under completely different laws than our own. Instead of going forward and expanding, that it could be actually going back towards the singularity. So let's say that we had like a bird eye view of another universe next to us doing this. We'd literally see everything living and existing backwards. Everything would be like in rewind slowly.
But then that world would have no logic. For example,
Well, that would be their
that would be their logic, right?
Logic and physics.
but that's the thing. We got to go back to what is necessary for logic. For example, I'm pushing the cup, and then that cup pushes my phone. There's a sequence of order in which one thing was pushed after the other. But if you're saying somehow the phone magically pushes the cup and then pushes my hand back, then we lost order. So
it would be like, have any of you ever seen Benjamin Button before?
Yeah.
It'd be
the curious
like
case of Benjamin Button, yeah.
But everything would be going backwards like that.
But
like the movie Tenet, maybe? The movie Tenet probably.
That was a good movie, man. Good movie.
But here's the thing. Now that you guys have all stated these things, now that we have like Missing Maud talking about the coin going into an air vent, all of these things have happened now, according to that same mathematical equation. Anything that can happen does happen. Anything that can be thought of exists. Think about the magnitude of everything that we have just said. And if that mathematical equation proves true, then that means everything that we just described is actually happening.
Right.
All at the
That's
same
kind of
time.
like what we were saying just a moment ago, Luce, for you and I, where if time travel is possible, then it's already happened.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
That it doesn't.
I don't think you can have free will under time, because if reality is just a film being played, and this would be our time dimension, then the end of the film is already determined, and so you cannot have free will within this reality, when there is time and reality.
Now you're talking about fate. Now you've discovered the problem with moving forward in time. Because in order to move forward in time, you need to have a set destination, not just a possible destination. You need a set destination. Now, you look Back to the Future. Doc Brown, Marty McFly were fucking with this damn thing all over the place, where they'd go back in time, they'd screw up the past, and they'd come forward in time. But they're only seeing one potential timeline. Doc Brown, he made the diagram where it was the line, the string of current events, and then they changed one thing. They left the damn sports almanac in the 1955, and it created a splinter timeline where Biff had it, and he took over the entire damn town and became like this major guru. Both timelines were happening at the same time, but then they needed to jump back in time to 1955 again, fuck with the past again, just to make sure that Biff didn't get his hands on that book and fucked everything up.
Great Scott, that was heavy.
Man, great Scott, I must be sleeping.
Murder! Is that word again? Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull?
No, I don't think so, Doc. I think we fucked up the timeline, Doc.
Again.
That's almost a spot on.
Yeah, he does actually sound like Michael J. Fox, but
Oh, Jesus Christ, Doc, man, what happened to Einstein?
88 miles per hour.
1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts. 1.21 gigawatts. Oh, great Scott.
That's
What?
classic,
What
man.
gigawatts?
Okay. Enough, Devin.
My goodness.
Guys,
He gets a little carried away sometimes.
I love that movie. Oh man, probably got to watch it again tonight.
We literally just watched it last night. Our son watched it for the first time.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. We have the entire trilogy, and he's asking, "Is there going to be a fourth movie?" And I'm like, "Pray there never is."
Well, they came close to it in the game. The game was okay. Came out
play the game.
PS3 for the PS3, I think it was.
There was a Back to the Future video game for the PS3.
Yeah, it was basically Back to the Future Part 4. Yeah,
It's kind of like Walking Dead.
Why have I never heard of this?
Yeah, when you play it, you'll see why.
I'm gonna have to look this shit up.
Yeah, you could probably get it for like $5 from somewhere. Somebody.
Well, see, I play Xbox. I'm still using Xbox One. I haven't even gotten the new Xbox S series.
Isn't it the same thing? I don't even keep track of it.
It's more like a powerful version of the Xbox One.
So, but no, I mean, we look at everything when we're talking about moving forward in time. Literally, what you need to do, and it is possible to potentially move forward in time. It's absolutely possible, but the thing that you need that target destination. You need to know exactly where, not only in time, but along what timeline you want to arrive at.
Now, how is this? How does anyone know this when we don't have any proof of anyone actually doing that? I mean,
But
what
we don't
materials
have any
are?
proof of anyone not doing it either.
But that's an argument from silence, though. You can't say that just because we don't have any proof of it not happening, that doesn't mean that means therefore it actually did happen. I mean, don't you need? I mean, what materials is needed? Like, do you need a flex capacitor? I mean, or something like that. I mean, what kind of things would you need? What one need in order to travel time?
Well, it's
apparently, according to this astrophysicist, he says that he can do it with a ring of lasers to form some sort of. Hang on, let me see. With a ring of rotating lasers forming a loop in time. What does that mean? A loop in time?
That doesn't make sense.
Literally, okay, so literally what he says, I'm going to start from the paragraph before that. Even though he recognizes that his designs and theories will probably not make time travel possible during his lifetime, he has been working on his ambitious project for years. In parallel to respectable to a respectable academic career, say it, not spray it, Lucifer, in order to reach his dream of traveling back in time to see his dead father again. He now believes he has the tools to bend the space-time continuum, literally bending it, with the help of a ring of rotating lasers forming a loop in time. That, honestly, to me, sounds like he's talking about building a Stargate.
Yeah, sounds like more like
Yeah.
dimension, hole in the dimensions rather than a time machine. Because first of all, you gotta define
That's what
what
it
is.
sounds like to me, right? Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
first has to define what is time, and clearly he's referring to a time dimension. Well, how do you travel dimensions?
Well, he's talking about creating a loop in time, utilizing this ring of lasers. That sounds to me like he's creating a Groundhog's Day event.
It sounds more he's talking about time dilation, and time dilation is what I was talking about earlier. It's just a difference, a centrifugal difference in the electric field due to the sun, due to the gravitational force. And
basically the accretion disk of a black hole.
Break that down in layman's terms, Darth.
It's the accretion disk of a black hole. So when you look at a black hole, we don't really see the black hole because it's pure black. There's nothing there to see. What we see is the particles of material rotating around it. And that's what gives us the perception of actually seeing the black hole. But when we look at the very center of that going across like a record, there appears to be a disk of matter folding in on itself. This is what's called the accretion disk. And it's when you contact the accretion disk, it's like a record, like the old vinyl records where all the music is then stretched out over the entire record.
Yeah.
And it plays back when you touch needle with it. The accretion disk is time dilation, basically. That's one of the few things that we believe time dilation actually occurs in. And basically, you get stretched out over it. It's
kind of like this.
Yeah.
So
basically. And then once you hit the event horizon of the black hole, all hell breaks loose. You get ripped to shreds by gravitational forces.
So basically, Veko is like, for example, the center of on a record player, the record near the center is spinning perceivably much faster than the outside if you were on the outside of the yeah. So that's centrifugal divergence time dilation. It's basically the same concept.
I see. And you're saying that's as close as you could possibly get, you think?
Well, it's not exactly time travel, but it's just
right.
See, I'm still of the opinion that in order to fully accurately time, you need some sort of device on both ends that's going to receive the signal. So you
time
need a
road.
Exactly, a time road. That's a very good reference point. A Stargate. So if you remember the movie Stargate, they had to dial in the destination of each gate, but they had to also calculate the movement of the stars. So the address of one gate might have changed due to the movement of the stars. So they had to adjust for that.
So, for example, if you wanted to travel back to this particular time right now, you would have to start building a device on your end and then save notes for somebody in the future to build a duplicate of this thing, this beacon or whatever you're talking about, so that they can use this to travel back to.
No, I would have to go back in time and build.
So you would have to go back
in time. That way, by the time if they wanted to travel to my time right now, I would have to travel back in time in order to build a time device then. That way, by the time it reaches now, people in the future can use that same device to reach this point now via the same device.
So if you went back, yeah, go ahead.
But the main problem is that laying down this time wire, we need to first there be a dimension to lay down this road upon. and that's the main contention. You first need to provide evidence for this time dimension to oppose time travel.
What do you
Yeah,
think about that? I've been noticing Missing Mod out here is very interested in astral projection. Do you think something like that could be used as an ability to time travel? There we go.
No, it's two completely different concepts. Is there places I can't go? Probably quite a few places. There's definitely places I wouldn't go.
I won't blame
go
you.
down the black spiral to Tartarus.
The sun.
Well, the idea is to basically move your
Oh,
spirit
lost
through
Michael.
space and time, right?
No, that's not exactly correct.
All right, well, tell me about it, guy.
I don't know how to tell you. It's not something you can really describe. You got to experience.
Slow down. Just relax.
Not to mention, I'm not even in that. I'm not even in that mode of concept right now. I'm in science mode now. I'm talking
about
time travel theory. No, in all honesty, okay. So if you wanted to astral project, theoretically, using astral projection, you could, in theory, see the past. All right. Good talking to you, Beckel. I actually liked him.
He's actually not that bad.
He's the guy I hang out off and on for the last few years. He is good people.
Cool. But no, I mean, you in theory could see past events. But here's the trick. How would anybody believe you? How do you expect anybody to believe you? I mean, and you can see past events, but you can't interact with it because you're doing things on a spiritual plane. That's the whole thing about astral projection.
You were saying earlier about the fates and all that, and I believe I seen some kind of representation of that on the Adventures of Hercules whenever they wanted to cut his string from the weave. So basically the theory is even if you traveled back in time, you wouldn't be able to impact and affect anything anyway because time is predetermined. That's a theory. I don't believe that. I'm a compatibilist.
I'm of the theory that there is multiple dimensions in time, and Darth makes up a very good point that you have to have that string, that established road to know where you're going in time. Otherwise, it's a scatter shot. You don't know where you're gonna go.
Yeah, like every time I go to bed, it's like I always have these
I think it was Vekel.
dreams.
I think it was Vekel who said that.
Oh, well, whoever. But that's why I said you need to have a point of a device, an object on one end, on both ends of where you're going in order to achieve that time travel, in order to open up that doorway. I think this guy has the right idea in opening up a doorway, but I don't think what he's talking about is exactly feasible in regards to not having a device on both ends. You need like a Stargate device or a Time Scepter device on both ends, because without that, not only are you crap shooting on where you're going to arrive dimension wise in the time streams, you are crap shooting where you are going to physically arrive in the space, in space. So literally you need a beacon that's going to guide you to where you need to go.
I think you use that same concept this missile uses. It knows where it is by knowing where it is not, and that's how it guides itself. So you can kind of apply that to time. Like it knows when it is by knowing when it is not.
Well, that would mean you need an advanced AI, and that's better than most human intelligences that can do trillions of calculations per nanosecond in order to adjust that. Given the state of AIs currently, would you trust an AI to do that?
More than most people.
I think that an AI would be useful. I think an AI would be useful if you could go back in time only a short distance. But if you were to like go back into primitive times, There's no way the AI would be able to read anything unless someone wrote a history of what the world and where its location in the universe was at the time.
Exactly. And that's the main thing. I think you could safely calculate maybe 100 to 200 years of movement for the rotation of the Earth. You could calculate that rotation wise in the galaxy. But beyond the galaxy, you are starting to get into theory of where the galaxy sits in the universe itself. See, that's the other thing. You are calculating the literal movement of the entire cosmos. Think about the level of mathematics that is, and that the level of understanding of what the universe looks like that would be required to do that accurately.
So I'm curious, this might come off kind of weird, but we've been sitting here pontificating, special word there, about going in the past and the present. If someone had a time travel machine, would it also be possible to pause the universe and time?
That would be a different device altogether. I think you could step outside of time if you had the right machine. You could theoretically step out of any particular time, and what it would appear like is literally everything standing still. But here's the problem. You have to bring with you a pocket of your own time. That's why having a machine like the DeLorean or H.G. Wells's time machine. Sorry, Darth, I will let you speak in 30 seconds.
No, I thought you paused. My bad.
Literally, if you watch the movie The Time Machine, the most recent one, where it shows Wells creating his time machine, it forms a bubble of time around him, and that bubble of time is stationary. It's his time. So literally it's the 1800s, and he can move that whole bubble along the timeline, but he stays stationary where he is on the planet. Okay. And once, because without that bubble, something falls outside of the bubble and he sees it decay immediately before his eyes. So you need to have a bubble of time around you that you can take with you until you reach your destination. Then you can dissipate it safely.
Yeah, that's something that I was gonna. Something that touches on something I was gonna say. Yeah, because like I don't think you pause time, because to pause time means you would stop entropy, and like that's kind of denying the law of entropy. And so, as you said, like there would be this this bubble of time, but it's still not quite negating entropy. It's just within there's a different speed of entropy within that bubble.
Now, Darth, I can honestly say that if you have this bubble of time and you have a device capable of time travel, the most logical way to time travel is to literally step outside of time. You step out of reality, which part of reality is time. So everything at that point, I could theoretically see where Christians would say God can see all moments in time simultaneously. Because if he's stepping outside of time, he can see all things at once, take his time about it, and then step back in any particular moment, which would explain, if he was capable of doing that, that would explain why he may not know everything perfectly.
But here's the thing: if you were to step out of reality, that would, to me, would be the same as going back to the void, and because now that you don't have everything that holds our reality get together, you now lose that, and so you basically dissipate.
Possibly, I'm not even going to. I think I missed half of what you said. I don't know why.
I don't understand. I don't understand the original point about entropy. If you traveled back in time, then obviously entropy is still going to act under the laws of that time period. And you're also going to be affected by the laws too. It's not like you're going to stop aging even though you went into the past, right?
Oh, it has to do with the pausing of time. So let's say if we were able to pause time, infinitely, then they would basically halt entropy infinitely.
But that's exactly what people of theistic nature are claiming whenever they talk about the afterlife. They say all time and pain and suffering and all this is going to go away. Well, in order for that to happen, entropy has to stop, right? In order for eternal beings not to age or suffer anymore, right?
Well, that's what they want, but that's not.
Yeah,
the
and
case.
that's a contradiction of things. I mean, you stop and you think about that. If all time, aging, pain, and suffering stops when you die and you're in the afterlife, then how does hell work? How does burning in the lake of fire work? How does being reunited with your loved ones work? You literally freeze into stasis. This is the exact thing that Satanists hate, that we stand completely against, stasis.
You know, I thought it was interesting that you said your father said you can only go back in time. And if you hear the accounts of some people who've gone through near-death experiences, they say it's like a fever dream. They experience their past, let's say had a specific event in their past, sometime in their history, but it was in the past. But they're experiencing that as if it were in the now, and they're experiencing all those moments at the same time as if it were now.
A fever dream, you say?
Yeah. So the way they describe this, dying is losing your consciousness into this fever dream-like state, in which like all your life, it all goes by you as if you were experiencing all at the same time. Those, especially those
That was
specific
not
moments.
my experience personally. I didn't have that.
Hmm.
I was very lucid the entire time. It was just like how I am sitting here, and I didn't see my entire life, past, present, future, passing before me. It was a very distinct series of events that almost had nothing to do with my actual life.
But there would be no future in that scenario.
1 second before we go too far ahead. Now, Lucifer, you were saying just a moment ago that that's one of the reasons why Satanists don't like the concept of heaven, because of that kind of experience. But you're a theist and you do believe in an afterlife. You believe in levels and layers of hell. So don't you believe when you go to hell that once you get over whatever guilt or regret and your consciousness is free, you don't believe you're actually going to age and die over and over again, right?
Not physically, no. Not unless
There
we
you
choose
go.
to come back to the physical realm. Physically, we're energy. The only thing about hell on how we perceive it is just that, how we perceive it. It's how we perceive ourselves. It's how we perceive everything around us. It's all just energy. From the desk in front of you to your computer screen to my cell phone to even me on the computer screen in front of you. It's all just fucking energy and vibrating on different wavelengths. This is provable by science. And how we interact with that energy in the physical matter is what determines on how we sense it and how it interacts with itself. When we die, that electrical energy that is contained within the physical body goes somewhere. All right. And that is no longer bound by the same boundaries that our physical body is. Does that change? Yes. What happens to our memories and our consciousness though, is the big question. We know that electrical energy that is us continues, but what happens to the data that our brains have collected over the span of our lives that make us who we are? Where does that go? Does that go with us, or does that go somewhere else, or does it not even matter? I think it goes with us, because in my experience, when I died and I was DOA for 20 minutes with my brain hanging out of my fucking head, totally brain dead, no way I was dreaming anything. I think our experiences, our life experiences, does carry on with part of our electrical field, the thing that is our soul, what we would call the soul, or the Ba, or the Ka, whatever you want to call it, carries on, and it carries the information from our lives, which affects on how that soul perceives the afterlife, quote unquote, around it.
All right, I got an interesting question for you. This has bounced into my head, and it's something that obviously Christians get asked a lot. But do you believe that you were created with a purpose and a function? And what was the point of it?
Well, when I passed away, when I died, I was told I needed to come back, that I had a purpose. There was something that I needed to do. So, yeah, I don't know what that is, but I assume I'll find out over the course of my life. But yes, I do believe so. I do believe in intelligent design. I don't think things happen by accident.
Well, you've probably heard this before, but not put as sophisticated. I've been asked by people in the past if God already had like a spiritual realm, no matter, and this goes for any deity that people believe in out there. If there's already a existence where things don't have a physical body, why create the physical realm in the first place? According to your theology, why is that?
Well, in our theology, we still acknowledge that the Christian deity is a creator deity, and I have rolled over my wire. We do acknowledge the Christian deity as a creator deity. You can call him Sekla, Sekel, Yahweh, Yaldabaoth, the demiurge, whatever you want to call him. He's a creator deity. But his purpose for creating people is he wanted slaves. And he is a god of stasis, so he wants things to stay the same constantly. And we see this in the Bible. We actually see this in the Bible. We also see it in the Gnostic texts and the scriptures. The only difference between the Gnostic texts versus the Bible is that the Gnostic texts were separated from the Bible because they give a contradicting story to the Bible. And yet they're still Christian texts. It's really funny. And in those, we quite clearly see that Yaldabaoth was jealous of the ultimate deity, the higher universal deity. You can name it whatever you want, Yog-Sothoth or Azazoth, or you can name it
Chaos.
Whatever. The universe itself, hell, you could name it Darth Vader for all I care.
Lord Vader.
The very fabric of the universe was higher than Yaldabaoth. Yaldabaoth was jealous creation. He wanted to be a creator deity himself, and so he did it. He created his own little pocket universe, which is this that we are on. And that's why we end up with Lucifer, the illuminator, other deities who come in and say, hey, this isn't exactly right. You want to know what the big difference between Gnosticism and Christianity is?
Let's hear it.
Okay. Anybody else want to hear it?
Hell yeah.
I think I have an idea.
Okay. The difference between Gnosticism and Christianity is all about salvation of the soul from sin. Okay? You have to ask for forgiveness for things that you've supposedly done, or simply, had no effect in whether it happened or not. You were just a result. Gnosticism, on the other hand, achieves salvation through knowledge. That's why it's called a knowing. Gnostic. That's literally what Gnostic means, is to know. So literally, salvation in Gnosticism comes from educating oneself. This is the exact same thing in Satanism. Satan to us doesn't demand worship on our knees. He demands us to stand up and study, to literally read a book and educate ourselves and be free and to set ourselves free. When we look at the apocalypse of Adam, we literally see in the final verses of it, Adam is talking about people setting themselves free, a small group of people who went against the grain, the popular concept of what people believe, and setting themselves free. They become the illuminated ones. This is, from what I've been told, is the second ending to Revelations, the one that was cut out, that says Satan wins. Well, how does Satan win? Satan doesn't win by winning a battle. He wins by people educating themselves and becoming too smart to fall for the tricks of Yaldabaoth. That they don't bend the knee. That's the difference. If you educate yourself, you have no reason to ask for anybody's forgiveness. And you will achieve your own paradise.
That's kind of similar to the teachings of chaos, because it still touches on the Gnostics, but it's the knowledge doesn't grant you freedom. It only grants you freedom from ignorance. It doesn't grant you freedom to do as you like.
No, it doesn't. No. But it gives you the power to set yourself free.
Yeah. So it's not talking about liberal freedom. It's more of a
No. There's still rules and everything. That's, but at least what it's talking about is you would have a understanding of what things are going on and what is and what isn't, and be able to see through deceptions.
Basically the truth.
It's when I'm going to reference the Apocalypse of Adam quite frequently because I think it's a very interesting text. It's not a long text. You can actually look it up online. It's out online. It could take up a single page in a book, or maybe 2-3 pages at most. And it's a very interesting text in that it's literally Adam talking to Seth. And Adam is like 750 years old now. And he literally says that the only reason why they are subservient to God is because they fear God and they serve him as slaves. Literally using that language, calling God a slave owner. And that they were slaves. The Gnostic texts have been gaining a lot of popularity in a lot of theistic satanic circles.
Even among the spiritual crowd, you'll see it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. I had family over there. They were trying to operate on the machine. Looks like we're fucked every which way but Sunday on this shit. I even asked my rich religious grandfather. I said, "Grandfather, my daughter just got out of surgery. She's going through recovery. We're all having a hard time here. The fucking machine's off. We can't get cold or heat." And he's like, well, maybe you just pray about it. I said, "Does God actually hand out air conditions? Is that a thing now?"
That's funny.
Am I terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a horrible Christian. You're hanging too much with this damn devil worshippers.
Let me put something out there for you, Lucifer. I do believe that an entity created us with the ability to help each other. That it wasn't just a matter of sitting around meditating like a fucking Buddha, waiting for the universe to drop something in our lap. So when people tell us, when something bad is going on or fucked up and they have the ability to help you, but they give you the middle finger and say, pray about it. That's basically a nice way of saying, fuck you, according to me, at least.
Yeah, very much.
Because the way I see it, I don't exactly see the the creation is evil, because I think even in some of those Gnostic texts, the ultimate God lets the creation of Yaldabaoth to continue, because he believes even within this minor creation, they could still find the way back to the ultimate God. And
Exactly.
He says like they could still be good out of this quote unquote, bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I think the true judgment is like, you look to the ultimate or the creators, you call him the dream maker, and he'll speak unto you and he'll say, you heartbreaker. And that's the true judgment. We are the
It's interesting
heartbreakers.
that you use the term the dream maker,
I
because I find that interesting, because that harkens back to Azazoth, the blind idiot god, who created the entire universe in his sleep, in his dream. And the moment he wakes up, we all go bye-bye.
I just hope it doesn't wake up.
And the reason I call it dream, because the reality, the way God creates this, this reality is, it's no different than the way a computer creates reality. It's by thinking, processing.
Mm-hmm.
But the way we think it, when we're awake, when we think about something, it's always in specific. When we think about a math equation, we don't create a whole world just to think about the math equation. But when we're dreaming, we create a whole world. And then it's only when we're dreaming that we create this whole world. But when every day to day life, we don't create a whole world just to think about something. It is only when we dream that we create this whole world.
Yeah.
I still don't understand the logic of this. I find that the analogy very fascinating about the dreaming God. When he wakes up, everything goes away. I don't get it, because isn't his own consciousness building the dream realm? So even when he awakes, they say subconsciously we still have that in us. So why would we completely become non-existence just because it has awakened?
Well, think about it. When you have a dream, when you personally, Brett, are asleep and you're dreaming, and then you wake up, how often do you remember that dream?
Well, I myself, I guess I'm a special case, because I have a lot of dreams, and I even have some prolific ones, and I usually remember them in great, great detail. Now, I do know that my wife, whenever she says she thinks she had a dream, she can't remember it. But me, I can tell you detail for detail. I'm creating complete fucking fantasy worlds in my dreams.
Well, that's a very unique gift right there. Most people, Brett, cannot remember their dreams very well. There's times when I remember my dreams, or specific portions of my dreams, in great detail. There was a long time there where I didn't dream at all, which was really weird. And but in more recent times, I've been having more dreams. And then there's times when I've had experiences in dreams where I don't think it was a dream. I think it was something else entirely, especially if I'm visiting a certain black house in San Francisco.
Well, I've had some issues whenever I was younger with the whole dream concept. I mean, here we're talking about time travel, now dreams, but one of the things that got me in trouble was there were some dreams that I had when I told people, they actually ended up happening, like people dying or something horrible about to happen. Unfortunately, it never seems to work for me. It's like I can do that for other people, but I can't like predict in a dream when something fucked up, like an air conditioner's going to go out.
Well, here's the thing. Being able to predict shit, precognitive, does prove that time does exist in a forward motion, that we can at least glimpse forward events.
That is a good argument. Because there are people who have a sixth sense of what's going to happen. They like, hey, don't show up to this place, and that there's an accident that happens. Like,
but the big question is, how far forward can we safely use? If we can perceive the future, if we can actually look forward in time and perceive the future, how far forward could we safely physically travel into the future and then be able to come back to the past?
You know, it's interesting what you and Mr. Darth just said. You said there's some people out there with the sixth sense to be able to see this ability and see things forward. But there's one problem. There's one piece of kryptonite to this. Every time I've seen something go wrong or horrible, whether it's on a grand scale or somebody I care about, I've never been able to stop it, no matter what I do, even though I know it's coming. It's like deja vu when it's happening.
I get deja vu all the fucking time. It's not even a joke.
Well, some people believe that time is destined, that certain events are destined to happen no matter what. So, you know,
Well,
if
it's
it's
like a
going to
curse,
happen,
though, isn't it? To relive it twice or even 3 times over.
not really.
Well, what if
It's
it's
just
somebody
what it
that you
is.
love? What if somebody you love is going, you see it in a dream that they're going to be brutally murdered, and then it happens? Or you dreamed it 3 times and then it happens. That's horrible. It's a fucking curse. It ain't a blessing.
Probably for most people, but with me, I've seen so much bad shit in real life, I wouldn't even be fazed by it. I literally wouldn't be. I'm sorry, Brett. You know, and I'm sorry to anybody out there who might take offense to this, but after you watch people getting stoned to death, burned alive, shot, and all sorts of other horrible shit happening to people, people literally choking to death on a napkin with their jaw broken. You
None
know,
taken.
yeah, you know, you kind of become anesthetized to the concept of death, or even seeing horrible things happen to people. Do I want those horrible things to happen to somebody that I care about? No, absolutely not. I do not want that shit to happen to them.
But only to people you care about. I mean, if there's somebody you don't like, what
I
will
got
it take?
I got an interesting question for you all, since we've been talking about time. Let's say that time could actually, you remember when you were talking about the guy in the bubble? Well, let's say this could be done in our present time, and you found out that there was a piece of equipment a scientist created where you could go to the graveyard of anybody that you cared about and could actually bring them back into the present, and they would remember only from the point when they died. Would you do that if you had the ability?
Well, here's the thing. You wouldn't go to the graveyard, because by the time they get to the graveyard, they're already dead. You would go to the place that they died.
I'm talking about like a machine or a technology that can actually
You're
collect
talking about
the
if
property.
we could find H.G. Wells's time machine, the actual device that he supposedly built and hid away, move it to a specific location and activate it, because that's the only way that it's going to work.
You ever, are you a fan of Star Trek?
Well, were you asking if we would do it? If we could?
Well, hold on, because I want to make sure this is clear what I'm getting at. Have you seen? Are you guys fans of Star Trek?
Absolutely, yes.
I have not watched.
So the what the fuck is that machine they use to basically destroy their molecules and appear somewhere else? I can't believe
transporter.
Okay, so if we had some technology where we could take the properties of somebody and reassemble them, kind of like a god would do, and put them back together in this time, would you do it if you had that ability?
That's a good question, because what you're talking about again,
I wouldn't use it.
What you're talking about, and actually in Star Trek, the new one that they have out, where it's following Christopher Pike and his Enterprise crew. The Dr. Mbenga has his daughter stored in the pattern buffer of the transporter system, and he's using that sort of exactly how you're talking about, where they can bring a person back if they've died. Or what you would need to do is you need to put them in the pattern buffer before they die, and they're basically data at that point, and then the pattern buffer reconstructs them in the moment that they were taken away. This is in Star Trek. They also use this as like a field surgical tool. If somebody in the MASH comes into the MASH unit in a battle or something, and they're too badly damaged or injured, and they've got more people that they need to focus on, they would then put this person into the pattern buffer of a transporter beam or a transporter device and storage them there. We see in Star Trek The Next Generation, Scotty, the one time Scotty shows up in the Dyson sphere, he actually did this exact same trick. He put himself in the pattern buffer along with another crew member, but unfortunately it showed the danger of that, or that data for his crewmate became corrupted and they couldn't bring him back. So what you're talking about is storing a person as data, like on a flash drive or something, putting them in a device and having that data reconstruct them.
Exactly. Well, what I'm basically getting at, it's a hypothetical to see if you believe that it would be moral in some way. 10 years have went by since a loved one or a friend passed away. And let's say you don't have a buffer or something to contain it in, but the machine that you have in your hand has the ability to extract all the information and reassemble the data.
Basically, the machine you're holding in your hand is a portable transporter device. It's a portable pattern buffer. It has the flash drive. It has all the ability. All you're lacking is the device to plug it into.
Right, right. So would you bring back somebody? That's the main part of the hypothetical. Would you do it, or do you think that that person's destiny has been lived and they shouldn't be brought back? Is it better? Is it like Pet Cemetery? Sometimes it's better dead.
Here's the thing. I think this is where it gets into the politics of the divine and the economics of the divine. I think God is a capitalist. And why do I say that? Well, what gives life value? Well, for example, the reason gold is so valuable is because it's very rare. There isn't that much gold. And so why does the person of one individual have so much value to us? Because there is one, and it's specifically only one. If we were able to replicate our loved ones and just clone them over and over again, they would sink in value. And so capitalism,
according to who, Mr. Darth? According to who? If you could bring your like dead mother back or a grandmother or something like that, who gives a fuck how much everybody else values? You get to be with that person again. That's more expensive than any piece of gold could ever give you.
But that's the thing. If you were able to just replicate your loved ones over and over again, they will become as valueless as dirt. And that reason they're only valuable to you right now is because there's only one.
You know, you just made an argument for heaven and hell being boring, right?
It'll never get boring.
Well, has anybody here seen the new Hellraiser movie, the one that Hulu made?
I'll be honest with you, all the way up to Hellraiser 3, I was interested. When he started doing all kinds of other weird shit, I wasn't feeling it.
Well, I'm talking about the reboot.
Reboot with the woman Pinhead.
Yes, the female Pinhead. Yes, it's a damn good movie. I suggest you watch it. It is a damn good movie, but they actually touch on the concept here. Now, the concept that you're talking about is, would you bring back a loved one who has passed away? But you also pointed out the topic of Pet Cemetery. Sometimes dead is better. In this Hellraiser, the lament configuration, the box, the puzzle box that calls forth the Cenobites, goes through a series of changes, and each change is a different puzzle box that you need to unlock. When you unlock it, a blade comes out to cut an individual that is then taken as a sacrifice. So in essence, you want to give these new puzzle boxes to different people to offer as a sacrifice. When you've completed all the different patterns and designs, the Cenobites come forward and they offer you a choice. And one of these choices that they offer you is the ability to return a loved one to you that you've lost. Somebody, some person, something that is precious to you, to have them back in your life. And when you watch the movie, you see that they give that person back to you. But just like everything else, there's a catch. And sometimes the loss of a loved one should be left alone and accepted, to cherish that loved one in your memory as they were. Would I accept a loved one back if I had the chance? Just like how you said with pattern buffer? Maybe, if I could save them just before they died. Sort of like Nora Frost or Nora Freeze in Batman with Mr. Freeze. But I would also look at the cost of that. Because everything comes at a cost, no matter what sort of magic or sorcery you want to use. It comes with a price. And the real question is, are you willing to pay that price?
Well, let's say there was no price.
What if there was no price? There's always a price. How could there not be a price? It's always going to be a hang-up somewhere, somehow. You may not see the price at first. It's really interesting to say. Let's say there was no price. Say it's a total freebie. I would call bullshit on that. There's always going to be a hang-up somewhere.
There's always will be a price on everything.
From some forms of Christianity, there wouldn't be a price on the other end because it's believed that people are dead until the arrival of Jesus and all that. So what could be the price, though? You know, would they be mad because they got brought back? I mean, most people, they don't want to go to sleep before time anyway.
Well, in your theology, there, right, considering Jesus would be the ultimate, there wouldn't exactly be a prize. There wouldn't really be a prize if you're dealing with lesser deities, which, you know, require payment. But if you're the ultimate, it doesn't take away from you.
Well, also, you got to look at it from another perspective. Brett just brought it up, and it reminded me of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Who here watched the old show Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Show of hands.
I watched a few of it and watched some of the Angel stuff, too.
Do you remember when Buffy died?
She almost died a few times. Go ahead.
No, I mean, she was dead. They buried her and everything. And then they brought her back through witchcraft. And she was pissed. Why? Because they were able to bring her back without consequence to them. But there was a consequence to her.
What was the consequence?
She was in paradise.
Oh, yeah.
They
See,
took
that's why
her
I was
away
speaking
from paradise. She was happy. She was at peace. She was out of the fight.
But what is paradise?
Whatever it was for her. It was happiness. I think paradise is different for everybody.
Here's the thing. I think, for example, in the same way, I think the question paradise is kind of the same way in the question what makes a nation. A nation is not just the dirt in which people inhabit; it's the people that make up the nation. And so, in the same way, what makes paradise? Well, it's the people you hope to meet there. It's not exactly, the cup infinite. It's not gold paved streets and infinite amount of mentions. That's just for show. But is that truly paradise?
See, that's the thing, though, and I get the idea of what you're talking about with Buffy, but from Christian circles, it's usually believed that once you're dead, you go to sleep until you're risen. So you wouldn't be in paradise unless you're a Catholic and you believe in some form of limbo or purgatory. So yeah, it would be just like waking up and, from a dream.
Well, most of the Christian circles, they say you go to heaven immediately, especially when you start looking at evangelical circles.
It's because of the
in
time
America.
thing. It's because
Yeah,
of the
they
time thing.
they have a very difficult time of accepting the notion that they might have to wait in Sheol until the end times when everybody is raptured up, and that's when they get to enter paradise.
Have you
But
guys? Oh, go ahead. finish.
For the dead though, Lucifer, it's like this. It's like being put in a kind of a cryogenic chamber. They're frozen in time until they're raised. Until then, they're literally not aware of anything. But that does beg the question: then why do some Christians believe in ghosts, right, and spirits running around on the earth?
Yeah.
If that's the case.
obviously, you're not at rest. You're not sleeping, so you're active somewhere. If spirits and ghosts are active, if demons and angels are active, somebody's awake somewhere. You're not just in a cryogenic state.
Well,
I think some religious people would argue that if you do see a dead loved one, like in a store or out somewhere, it's not really them. It's some kind
Demon.
of a monster doing some evil to your ass.
Yeah, I think that's just Christians just not getting it. Because if they don't put the souls in heaven or hell, then they're putting them nowhere, nothing, and that doesn't make sense.
Well, Christians aren't no fun whenever it comes to aliens or other planets either. Yeah. I'm very open-minded to that, but I keep having religious people say, no, if you see something flying around, that's going to be an angel, buddy. That ain't going to be no little green man from fucking Uranus. You know,
Jeez, it sounds like an average evangelical.
I'm going to divert people here. It seems Speed Romans and Missing Mods are having a very interesting conversation about me. They're wondering where my name comes from.
Well, Peprex is wrong. Peprex says it's sadly no one has come back to tell us what's next. Actually, there's been quite a few different people that have claimed to have like Mr. Lucifer here, who claimed to see the other side and have returned and talk about it.
Or is he talking about the future in the tense, in the context of the future?
If he's talking about context of the future, there have been people who claim that they have gone forward in the future and then come back. But yeah, before we go to Peprex, let's address the interesting conversation that's going on about me. Missing Mod asks, where does the name LeGivorden come from? And Speed Romans mentions that he believes it's my last name. Yes, it is my last name, but it's it's historical in a very unique way. LeGivorden is actually a misspelling on my part when I created my first screen name. I was a fan of an old board game from back in the 80s and 90s called Nightmare. And it spawned some unique sequels, and they're still making versions of it today called Atmosphere. Now, one of the characters from the board game was Givorden, the werewolf, which is also a mispronunciation of the actual name. Can anybody guess what Givorden is properly pronounced as?
Givorden? I don't know.
Gévaudan.
Is that French?
Yes, it is.
I don't know why Missing Mod doesn't come in here and just ask questions to people and join the conversation. Missing Mod, you can't lie to me anymore. You can't lie to me anymore and say that you're not able to do it, because I've seen you have a few retards in your own show. So get your ass in here and hang out with us.
Talking about Big Rat Mama.
We're not a ravaged dog.
No, I'm not comparing you guys to what she's got over there. She's got some people that definitely require some heavy duty medication.
But no, my name actually comes from this video board game. I was a fan of it, and it's a really awesome board game. And so in the sequel, Atmosphere, The Harbingers, it was talking about how Givorden, the werewolf, comes from the forest of thorns, or the forest of LeGivorden. And that's one of the little words that was used in some of the audio descriptions. I fell in love with the term, and I used it as my first ever screen name for my first ever email address in Yahoo Mail back in the late 90s. And I've been using it ever since. And eventually it turned into my occult name and grew, and eventually it became known as Alexandru Lucifer Ravensloft-LeGivorden. I don't think I need to explain where the term Ravensloft comes from.
I need you to explain that Lucifer part. Where did that kind of get?
Well, if anybody knows me personally, they would understand the word Lucifer being in there very well. And actually, it's quite fitting because Lucifer is a play on my actual name. It actually means the same thing as my real name. My real name is Luke.
Luke stand for, what does that Luke stand for?
Light carrier.
Luke, I am your father.
Actually, he never says that.
Yeah, it's the Mandela effect.
No, I am your father.
So, but yes, my name is Luke. It means light carrier. And the word Lucifer means light bearer. They are the exact same name, just from different languages. Luke is Hebrew, Lucifer is Greek. Greek and Roman.
The two original languages the Bible was written in. Was it Greek? Yeah, it was Greek.
Turning Tree says, damn, I'm so late again. Listen, folks, we do things Monday and Friday, 7 p.m. Central. Unless Mr. Lucifer decides he wants to do something earlier in the week, then I would most likely participate with him if he wanted to. And also on Thursdays, I do a thing with TTR, but we're going to be doing the shows over on Rumble. At some point in time, if the censorship keeps on getting shitty, I may start doing all shows on Rumble. That way we can play copyright shit and say anything we want without having to worry about fucking Nazi Germany Google getting us. You know what I mean?
You know, that's another thing that if it wasn't for the fact, honestly, being on your show, Brett, and this is something that I've been talking to the STS guys about recently, being here, working with you guys, doing these live streams, has actually helped out a lot of my content on YouTube greatly. I mean, before I was languishing at probably about, for the past year, it's been anywhere between 850 to 870 subscribers. In the few weeks that I've been working with you, Brett, you bounced me out of that rut to over 900 subscribers, and I'm getting daily subscribers now.
Well, now you're put in a position where you're able to talk about many, many different topics, and people get to see you bouncing off of folks. That's very, very exciting for a lot of people to see live events. And it also helps that you're awesome. So there you go.
Thank you. And who says I'm sad? I'm not sad.
I don't
I'm
see
a
you.
very jolly fellow. I'm a very
You're
jolly
very happy
fellow.
right now. We had a moment with the Godzilla.
So you like the new intro, by the way? Lucifer? Did you like that?
Huh?
I didn't ask you how you felt about the new intro. Did you like that? I know you said the woman was hot and everything.
Oh yeah, she's hot. I wouldn't toss her out of bed.
I hear you there. But did you like the music?
Of course I like the music. Sorry, I'm being jackass.
Hey, we gotta have fun sometimes, all right?
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what happens when one puts too much sugar in their coffee like I do.
Speaking of coffee, honey, can I get another cup of coffee?
Jeez, you told me if I took my ADHD medication.
Hey, I was misdiagnosed.
Hey, it happens, all right? Don't judge me like this. All right, round 2 on coffee.
There you go. Yes.
Whoa, easy.
Yes.
Yes. Drink some coffee here.
Oh, Missing Mod, the new intro is pretty badass. I was doing the like a heavy metal version of Real Life, Send Me an Angel and all that, but I like this one better. We All Die Young. Yes.
You know, if honestly, if I wasn't getting so many good, if I didn't have so many videos up on YouTube and I hadn't worked so long and hard on my YouTube channel, I'd do away with it and I'd just jump over to Rumble completely.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna be doing Rumble anyway.
Well, I've been knocked down several times there. I've gotten to the point where when I did my first account, I had over 10,000 subs. And then I come back after they knocked me down, I get a couple thousand, and I just kept doing that over and over. And then finally, I think they shadow banned me. So it seems very difficult to be able to grow now.
Yeah. I mean, what's the difference? Okay, so what would be the benefit of having a Rumble versus YouTube?
I think more people are on YouTube because nobody's ever really heard of Rumble. Nobody really goes to Rumble. And I think when people talk about Rumble, it's like almost talking about like an in between YouTube and 4chan. And that might
I
drive
mean,
some people
obviously,
away.
somebody has to be using Rumble.
There
has to be some, there has to be, because one of the things is you can get monetized almost immediately on Rumble versus YouTube.
Yeah,
There
but
is.
like
YouTube mostly was in the past, it was oriented towards people like you and I, where we talk, hang out, socialize. They had Google Hangouts and all that. But nowadays they're pushing Disney movies and fucking films, and the whole thing is just becoming completely how do I say, it's just a big pile of dog shit. It's hard to find people now.
Dates.
well, it wants to become it kind of is already the platform if you want to, get your stuff out there.
As far as Rumble goes, TTOR recently got invited on a popular Rumble users broadcast. My buddy TTOR, and he ended up getting a lot of subs and views from that. We made over 1,000 views on one of our Rumble shows. You remember when those people rated us?
1,000 views?
Over 1,000 views are on a show over on Rumble that me and Mr. Lucifer did on Anton LaVey.
Oh yeah.
The N-word war.
How many
now,
views?
what's interesting is the same video is on YouTube, but it did not break over 120. But over there, it broke 1,000.
Can we bring that up? Because I've got this is something pretty funny. I've actually got this troll who follows. I mean, he is incessantly trolling me. He's watching right now. I know he's actually watching me right now on this. So he's probably giddy that I'm talking about him. I'm not going to name him. I'm not going to promote him or anything. But it's pretty fucking funny.
But he's your number one fan.
Oh
Here
yeah,
you go.
he really is.
Number
I'm
one
going to post the link. I just posted the link to the outside, and I'll also post it in private chat. We're getting close to 2,000 now. Haven't looked at it for a while, but there you go. Take a look. See,
right.
You can get popular on Rumble. You just gotta talk to the right people. One of the ways I made it big on YouTube back in the past was being able to go on podcasts and shows.
How do I see how many views it got?
It's right below and center below. Below the video.
Oh yeah, I see it. Holy shit, 1.45 thousand views.
Almost 2,000 views. Holy shit.
We're sexy motherfuckers,
share my
man.
screen. I'm going to share my screen, guys, so people can actually see this. Because it's pretty fucking funny. This individual tries to claim that none of what I'm doing is getting any sort of attention. And I'm going to be like, right here, we're on multiple platforms. And we're doing all sorts of things.
Lucifer, it's literally just a matter of all I have to do is email a couple big Rumble people and say, hey, Can me and Lucifer be on your podcast or show and hang out, even if it's for 15 minutes with our channels advertised as we're talking, and we could be up to thousands of subs in a matter of moments. It's just about hitting the right algorithm.
Exactly. Honestly speaking, if my Rumble started doing better than my YouTube channel, I'd get rid of my YouTube channel. I'd move everything over to Rumble as best as possible. I'd start from scratch and I would just focus on Rumble. If we could actually achieve that and we could prove thousands of subs. I've got over 900 subscribers right now on YouTube, thanks to our interactions here. If we could actually achieve that over on Rumble and do better than we do on YouTube, I would say fuck it all. Let's go over to Rumble.
It'll potentially happen. It'll potentially happen. My radio station, it's able to play videos on Spotify and all that, and I've got thousands of listeners on the radio. That's the reason why I keep doing the international radio thing, because it is succeeding. But I believe on YouTube I've been shadow banned. I believe the only way
because they don't like right wingers.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Here's my suggestion. Here's my advice for you. Keep up your YouTube channel, but keep promoting your Rumble. Try to get as many people that are watching you on YouTube over there for the day when YouTube says, you know what, I don't like Brett Keane and Lucifer's face. I'm just going to get rid of them motherfuckers. And then we'll have, our fans over there. Get it?
Yeah, exactly. And, talking about that, for people who are curious about me on Rumble, you can actually find me over there. And I am going to quickly share my screen again so people can, I'm doing some shameless self-promoting here, Brett.
Oh, it's cool, man. It's cool. Missing Mod says you should have Kent over more often and all that. I have talked.
I've got 5 followers. Hey, can our viewers tonight come over here to Rumble? Show me a little bit of love. Let's see if we can boost this 5 followers to over 20 followers.
Oh, luckily, I already showed you some
Let's
love
keep
there,
it a
brother.
small little thing. And if I get another 5 followers in the next 24 hours, I will put up a lot more videos on my Rumble. Okay?
Hell yeah.
Yay.
So let's see some love. Let's see some love. Okay?
Come on, peeps. Let's go to his channel right now, folks. Subscribe.
Yeah, put your link out into the main chat and everything so people.
Oh, damn it. I just closed it. Hang on.
or people, if
Where
you
did it go, dude?
All right. If you check out the title of the video, I already have it set to where if you click on his name in the title, it'll take you directly to his channel. It's already
my
linked.
YouTube channel.
Yes. You see it says at Lucifer. If people click that, it'll take them right to you.
There we go. I just put my Rumble out there into the comments. So go on over there. Subscribe to me on Rumble. Help me out. Let's see if we can start growing my Rumble channel.
Fuck it. I guess I got to start doing my own Rumble channel to do some lolcow stuff.
Well, you should. Rumble let you say and do everything you want. Man, I put some hardcore shit up on Rumble. Yeah, I ended up getting. I ended up getting 1,000 views. I ended up getting over 1,000 views talking about something that involved people wearing masks and people had to be at a distance. I'm not going to say any further than that because YouTube will fucking do me wrong on that. But you get my point.
What's the deal with copyright? Because you said that on Rumble we could play like music videos from other artists. We don't have to worry about being hit with copyright infringement as much. What's going on there? I mean, if that's the case, how do we protect our own copyrighted material on Rumble?
Well, Rumble doesn't have like an AI and the serious resources that YouTube has. I mean, if people start taking advantage and manipulating the system and taking a bunch of music videos and putting it up there when it's not theirs, sooner or later, Rumble will start getting fucking sued and screwed with and all that. But right now, do you know who Rumble is? Who put Rumble together, came up with the idea? Donald Trump. as well as Truth
Oh.
Social.
There we go.
That's one of the reasons I support it.
Oh, I didn't know he funded that. It's cool.
Cool. That would definitely.
Oh,
be
hell
cool.
yeah! Fuck yeah!
Yeah, if you listen to some of his old rallies.
Social. I'm actually on Truth Social. I don't use it very much, but I've heard that there's a lot of glitchiness with it. Have they figured that out yet?
It seems, to be honest with you, I wish that Donald Trump would just go back to Twitter, because Truth Social seems really fucking dead to me.
Yeah, plus Tesla. I mean, not Tesla. Who's the guy who owns Tesla?
Elon Musk.
There you go. Elon Musk now runs Twitter, so I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is going to platform Trump.
He's already gotten a hold of Trump.
Yeah,
and asked him
he's
to come
already
back.
told Trump, "Come on back to Twitter. You're more than welcome here."
There you go.
But
Well, at least
Trump's
it's coming
trying-
back, so that's nice.
Trump's trying to push that damn Truth Social site. I don't see why. I mean, my goodness, he's fucking half a century old at this point. He might as well just use whatever will fucking help him. Twitter was his way. It was the way.
This is the way.
I suck with names. I can't remember anybody's
This
name.
is the way.
A missing mod, people can click it. In the title, his name is in blue. If you click on that, it'll take you to his channel.
Now, does that take them to my YouTube channel?
Well, try it real quick. Open up my video, and you'll see your name in blue in the title. See what happens.
Hang on. Let me mute my mic so I.
God damn it! Who let the dog out?
My goodness, messing mod, this whole fucking time after 20 shows with Lucifer, you still ain't figured out the link deal? My goodness. You know what we do to people who can't figure out links? We spank them. Bend them over our fucking knee and spank them. That's what we do.
Sure, hold on.
Yeah, it takes you to my YouTube.
There you go. Mine wasn't
And
mine.
my current, I have 902 subscribers on YouTube now.
Now, if I'm on another podcast and you see the word asshole in blue, most likely I'd take you to my YouTube channel.
There you go.
That was a joke. That was supposed to be funny. Yes.
So are you trying to tell me that whenever I link to you, I should link you as asshole?
Nah, I'm just joking. This when people are doing this, like when you write in the title, you all right over there, fella? Okay, so you put at Brett Keane, and that'll work.
At Brad Keane, this is the way.
It's he's got Tourette's. Forgive him.
He needs his meds.
I do need my meds right here. I got that right here. I have my Zoloft.
Go take them. Go take them.
I took them this morning, actually.
You don't need them pills.
You need another nose.
Live.
Teacher,
Yeah, I overdosed all these pills on my hand. I'm kidding.
Hey, what's live spelled backwards?
Evil.
League with Satan. I always like this gag with me being like this bipolar guy or wherever. I always find it humorous. Go take your meds. I will take my meds.
Well, you
Check it out.
you just need something to focus on. That's what I try to do. Just like it's something
Well,
to
there's
keep
nothing
my
else
mind.
to talk about, so what
Well,
can we focus on?
Well, I think the main reason I joined this whole theistic talk debate was get my mind on something that would suck.
Oh
to,
yeah, I'm
you
just
know-
over here. I'm just over there, just actually watching.
We got a question out here. Skyworks saying, "Ain't you all on meds?" Yeah. After I made love to your mama, it traumatized me, and I've been on meds ever since.
Oh
There
me,
we go.
oh me. I was in a really bad life, man. I was so fucked up in the head.
I mean, what are meds? That's just the legal way to get high.
Exactly, it is.
Because like they're just meant to make you happy, and that's no different than
It does make
marijuana.
me happy. I'm already happy enough already.
Well, I mean, it's no different than marijuana. It's just meant to temper with your chemical imbalances.
Of course, it's like me. I'm just always hype up on some shit.
There you go. So Lucifer, I don't know what it is, but sometimes people like to heckle just so you give them some shit. You got to try it sometime. When you see somebody say something dumb, let them know it.
Well, I think
you mean like asking if I drink blood?
Sure, let's drink some blood.
You know how it is when hecklers fuck with the comedian drops fucking an anchor on their ass. They're like, yeah.
So the question is for Missing Mod. All right, am I drinking blood out of this in the picture on my YouTube channel? I don't know. What do you think we drink during high masses?
That's the skull of Nostradamus right there.
No, I think Missy Mod made a good point. Like she
There's
said,
some good blood right here,
you can't handle your own emotions anymore when you take a pill for them. And that is true. In the same way, your body naturally produces nicotine, and you start smoking, well, then your body stops producing nicotine, and so now you're kind of dependent on the cigarette for the nicotine.
In all honesty, Missing Mod, no, I don't drink blood out of this. I actually drink wine.
Yeah.
Last wine that I drank out of it was elderberry. Lovely smell. Still in there. That actually does look like blood. I need to clean this. I just realized.
Oh, jeez, looks like a blood right there. A
But are you drinking wine?
It's supposed to be wine, but apparently I'm drinking blood.
Piano? I don't remember my wines
Well,
anymore.
Missing Mod says that she is very serious about her questions. She's been asked.
Yeah, I know. I'm picking on you, Missing. I'm picking on you. No, actually, it is elderberry wine. It's from Manischewitz. Kind of hard to find. You got to be in the right state to find it. They don't sell it here in South Carolina, so we have to jump the border over to Georgia in order to buy it. Normally, because we love Manischewitz wine, and that's what we normally do. Ironically, it's kosher wine. It's Jewish wine.
Elderberry is the one that's hard to find.
Elderberry is very difficult to find, but we normally get the blackberry, and that's pretty decent. And yeah, no, that's not blood. Though it looks like it.
Sure, hell, it does look like blood.
I think it's time. Talking about the dogs.
Missing Mod says, so what is the blood drinking even for? Like in magic, I mean.
Well, blood is the currency for the soul, and basically, what kind of you have to look at what defines you. So, look at your body. What is defining that? Well, it's in the blood, but this is just merely a symbolic representation of your soul, kind of.
No, it's actually not a prop. This is there is a woman who is on Etsy who makes these. She doesn't make them very often. It's made out of resin, and it's an actual legit steel cup inside, and we actually do use this during rituals. Talking to Skyworks 60 there.
Oh, he's in the other chat. I'm looking at Brett's chat right now.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot more interesting stuff in his chat.
It's like I think it was Lucifer who said earlier that the cross, the crucifixion was like a blood ritual, and yeah, basically it is a blood ritual. I mean, why does Jesus tell you, drink my blood and eat of my flesh? But
I cannot confirm nor deny the presence of human bones in this house.
Oh dear.
Well, that sums up everything.
Hopefully they're not freshly taken.
I I cannot.
They might be grave
confirm
rob.
or
I'm
deny
kidding.
anything.
Oh, there you go. I told you. Satanic Pentacles, right?
The truth of the matter is it all depends on what state you're in, whether or not you can legally own human bones.
I mean, is that a good idea though? Because like, let's say you do have the bones of a spirit who's kind of restless. I wouldn't have.
I know
have
where
those.
I can get human bones here in South Carolina. I know a guy who actually sells them, but just for like a human skull, it's like $2,500, and he doesn't even have a full skull. He only has the top part.
No. It's like, because you ever heard like some ghosts, hunting their remains? I'd be scared of that. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. We get things passing through here all the time, and it's kind of crazy. I could easily take you guys on. I should probably take people on a tour of my house sometime.
Well, I got to someday.
Huh? Oh yeah. You'll get a tour of the place someday. All you have to do is make your way out here, meddler.
You want me to do a heist? I'm kidding. I won't do it.
Right.
And I made your dog paranoid a little bit.
No, they're outside barking at a squirrel or something. Maybe a possum.
Okay, good. Because I was worried that it got your dog paranoid. Because I would put on a Black Sabbath song if I had to.
No, they're outside.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being a smart ass.
Because I couldn't even like think about having like the ashes of a relative, much less the bones of a stranger. It's kind of like weird to me.
Yeah. It's what's weird to one person could be very normal to another. Now, one thing I will say that we actually do have here, we have a voodoo doll. Not just any voodoo doll. We didn't make it. It was given to us. This voodoo doll comes from Haiti. And it's a red voodoo doll. It's a female voodoo doll, and it has human hair on it. And a friend of mine gave it to us. He's a photographer. He's worked for National Geographic and everything. And he went down to Haiti. Black Meddler, mute your mic.
Sorry.
He went down to Haiti to film a voodoo event. And this was a big one. It was up in the mountains. And they were doing some pretty crazy shit. I've seen the video footage of it. I can probably link it, but it is very it's very graphic, and a lot of people would get really upset with it. If we ever do a live stream strictly to Rumble, I will go ahead and show that. But the thing of the matter is I can describe what you see. You see animal sacrifices being done. And they do, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Imagine, has anybody seen the Green Inferno, that movie?
I heard about it.
Familiar with it.
I've seen clips, I think.
There's some pretty harsh stuff in that movie. Let's put it this way. Seeing that shit being done to an animal in real life is vastly different. The way that this tribe in Haiti go about it is they offer the animal some food. And if the animal eats the food, they're accepting themselves being a sacrifice. And so they'll take like a goat or whatnot, and they'll offer him food. If the animal turns away the food, he won't eat it, then it's not him giving permission. But if he eats it, he's giving permission for his life to be taken. And they'll start with the ears. They'll cut them off. And then they'll start working on other things. And there's one clip, and it's between two people. They have this kid, and when I say kid, I'm referring to a baby goat, not an actual child, but a kid. This baby goat, and they've got him between them by its hind legs, and they're trying to pull it in half. And the one guy, he picks up the goat's head and he bites it on the throat, and the goat is screaming. It's screaming and it sounded like a child crying.
That is crazy, man.
That's rough.
Yeah. See, when the Christians make the argument like all these other quote unquote gods are just demonic spirits, I think that does have some legitimacy. Because like they use stuff like this in the acts of human sacrifice, kind of sounds like what a demon will do.
Well, I think we've had this discussion before. You know what a demon is, right?
Yeah, a daimon, which is used to be which is used to just to mean deity.
No, a demon is an earth spirit. That's all it was. The first reference of a demon was in the story of Gilgamesh. That was the first reference to one ever in history. And all it was an earth spirit that was assigned to protect a forest. So basically, all demons really are, they're nature spirits. They're spirits that never took on human form. And that's all they are. Now, when you're talking about other things that are more in line with what our modern conception of demons are, you're talking something closer to a jinn. You know what a jinn is, right?
Yeah, the Muslim version of a demon.
A jinn is what we also call genies, like the genie in the lamp.
Yeah, like Aladdin.
Very much so, exactly. Now, these are fire spirits. They come in many different forms. You have water jinn, earth jinn, fire jinn, and they can be very, very demonic in sense. Some have 3 eyes, some have multiple eyes. But yeah, what we think of as demons are more akin to the jinn from Arabian culture.
You know what I find it interesting about the the traditional demon, not just the earth spirits, but when you see the depictions of their anatomy, for example, their buttocks or their genitals, or it's replaced with something else that is not the standard things humans have. For example, they'll have a mouth for an anus, and I think this is just kind of harkens back to what is creation if not the work of beauty. And so it's basically an upfront to the work of beauty of God. Instead of of the perfect bottom, it's the perversion of the perfect bottom.
It's rough. Speaking of genies, though, Lucifer, have you seen the genie movie with Ezra in it?
No interest.
No interest? Why not?
No interest.
Oh.
Romantic comedies don't often interest me, and that's exactly what that movie is.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a romantic comedy.
Which movie?
I forget what it's called, but he's basically a genie. And there is a little bit of love in there and all that, but it's more mystical and fantasy-like. It's kind of like watching
I'm also not fond
movie.
of the combination of the cast that they have there. I mean, individually, they are great actors and actresses in it, but I don't like the interplay between them. I'm not a fan of that particular interplay in the romantic sense between those particular actors. They don't have the chemistry to pull it off. I mean, when you see actors in a romantic comedy on screen, you want them to have a chemistry with each other where they can play off of each other, where they get along, and when they're portraying that they're being romantically involved with each other, you can see the interest in their eyes. When I've seen some clips from that very movie, and there's absolutely nothing there. There's nothing that speaks to me that they're even remotely interested with each other.
They're not. They're not. I don't know. When I watched the movie, I just seen that it was available to watch. I had never seen clips or a trailer. But if you seen some kind of trailer where it looked like they were in love with each other, they never were in the movie. They never was. She was a lonely ass woman who found this genie, and she waited and waited and didn't want to make a wish because the genie, it was forced to keep her company. It didn't love her or care about her. It kept waiting for her to give it the wishes, and that she wouldn't. So she kind of imprisoned it in order to be involved with it, kind of like a forced relationship. So if you seen a trailer and it looked like they weren't getting along with each other, you're probably right. There was no
Well,
fucking chemistry.
I think if we switch the
interesting.
roles, from male to female and vice versa, I think the audience wouldn't have the same opinion of this being romantic.
I don't know. It's just like she just didn't want to make her wish. She kept on saying, "Yeah, I know how this works. I make a wish, and then you're going to give me something fucking stupid that has nothing to do with what I want. Genie's going to play a trick." And she goes, "You're already doing what I want." And he goes, "What's that?" And she goes, "I'm alone, and I don't want to die an old woman. So I want you to be with me and basically, be a part of my life." So that's what it was like. It had nothing to do with actual love.
Yeah, like if a guy did that to
the thing that is that the whole movie was portrayed as this romantic comedy where her and the genie fall in love, and that's what didn't catch my interest.
She makes one last wish where she tells the genie, because he said, "I can't love you. I can't do this and all this." And she goes, "But if I make a wish, you would have to, right?" And he goes, "But it wouldn't be real love." And she goes, "I would rather have an illusion than nothing at all." So she forces him to live as a human until she dies, and then he's freed.
Imagine a guy doing that to a female genie. The audience, today's liberal audience, would lose their mind. They would call that guy a rapist.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
They would rewrite the story where the female genie would turn around and tear the guy apart.
I think when we're watching it, though, or at least when I watched it, I realized this wasn't a human, and time wasn't a commodity to it. It was going to live eternally anyway. You got this woman, you actually sympathize with her. You're like, damn, she's lonely, she's miserable. She feels like she's on her last leg and shit. And all she wants is someone to be there for the last 10 or 15 years of her life, and that's it. But yeah, if it was the other way around, the feminists would have lost their fucking mind. They'd be like,
the
"Oh my
feminists
God."
are probably like, "Oh yeah, this is a strong feminine woman who knows what she wants, and she demands it, and she demands subservience from this godlike deity."
That's the interesting part of it, that because the thing has this, it's a genie, she is in control, full control over it. She's the one with the power until the wishes are up. That's why she hesitates to make her wishes. You get it now? Now you see
and now I have even less interest in watching it than I did before.
All right. Well, fair enough.
I mean, a movie's supposed to reflect the culture of the time, and it kind of does reflect the culture of the time, with lonely, aging women in their 30s because they mess up their relationships in their earlier ages. They refuse to bow down to a man, or at least cooperate with a man. Know their position, and so it does reflect that culture of that generation of women. We do see these lonely women because they've done OnlyFans, and now nobody wants to be with them. Now they're alone. They don't have any kids.
Yeah,
I can't believe. I'm not trying to be like a hater or anything, but who was the woman that come up with the idea that said, "You know what? I think women should be in the military. We should be out there getting killed." Who came up with that fucking brilliant idea? If I was in the role of a woman and I could say, "Fuck it, I don't want anything to do with it," and everybody'd be like, "All right, cool, go make some fucking donuts," I'd be like, "Yeah, what's the problem?" You get what I'm saying? Do I sound sexist? I'm just saying, who wants to be in a war?
Not me.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's like, anybody remember Demi Moore's G.I. Jane? Great movie.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
Absolutely great movie. But Viggo Mortensen was about to rape her on set, and people were having a fit about it. But the truth of the matter is when people actually stop and think, they understand that what Viggo Mortensen was doing was he was actually training her to know what to expect if she, as a woman, was ever caught behind enemy lines. That they would not see her as a soldier. They would see her as a potential to do all sorts of even more horrible things than they would to a male. And, what she would face if she's ever captured as a female soldier. And I know because my sister was a soldier. She was in the Army, National Guard. She was stationed in Afghanistan. So she put herself in that position. Now, thankfully, she came back just fine. But this sort of thing does happen, over there where female soldiers, for whatever, get caught. And bad shit happens to them. Bad shit, they don't have any human rights.
Yeah,
They never did.
It's not just the war thing either. Who was the woman who said, "I think women should be independent. We shouldn't have to have children. We shouldn't have to have husbands or men around us. We should be working one of those long, hard jobs where we're just fucking busting our ass all day. So one day we can get fired 20 years down the road and lose our fucking pension." Who came up with the idea that was a good idea?
Well,
Huh?
it's not that they
look at the
want
women's
to work.
rights movement.
It's not that they want to work hard. It's that they want all the benefits without any of the downsides. And they consider children and being married a downside because that means commitments and stagnation to them.
Oh, you're right. You're right. They want it. They treat man like he's a fucking buffet. I want some of that. I want some of that. Oh, work all fucking day doing a dump truck. No, I pass on that. Yeah, I get you. Oh, if we're getting hateful, man, we're gonna get sacrificed to some kind of fucking evil deity for this shit.
Oh, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
We might want to be careful. Our YouTube channels might get nuked because we're being sexist here and anti-feminine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Isn't that weird? We could sit here and talk about animal sacrifices all day and fucking necrophilia, but we start talking crazy about independent women, and bye-bye.
Now, here's the thing. Right behind me, I got my girlie. If she wanted to, I wouldn't put her on camera, but if she wanted to, she would come onto the show and she could flat out tell people that her views are exactly the same, that she believes that, and she is a career woman. She has a job. She has everything that we're talking about. But she believes that a woman's place should be subservient to the man. And I'm saying this literally in front of her right now. She's right behind me. She can hear me saying this. All she has to do is say hi.
Hello.
Hello,
Adam.
Diane.
You heard
He
him?
won't be able to hear us. He's wearing headphones.
Kidding.
Yeah, they all say
Everybody's
hi.
like, "Hello, how you doing?" Yeah.
But
Hey, how you
so
doing,
she knows
man?
exactly what I'm saying, and I can look and I see her nodding, and it's like, yep. And she believes that women should be subservient to men because men historically have been the breadwinners.
I wouldn't even call it subservience. It's more of
That doesn't mean
a
I
team.
can't take care of myself.
Missing Mod is asking you, are you in the cult too?
Yes.
There's your answer.
And I wouldn't exactly call it subservience. It's more of like, for example, in the military, people don't really have a guy barking orders. They work as a team and they talk amongst each other like, hey, how do you think we should approach this? And it's really just a teamwork there. And I think that's a lot of reasons why relationships fails. They don't really want to work as a team. Or at least one member doesn't want to work as a team. And then, one member wants to be the lone wolf kind of thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And my personal opinion is that it doesn't matter if the woman wants to be the one doing all the work and being the breadwinner of the house, so long as the man is willing to take up the house duties. Or if the man wants to go out and do the iconic male thing and be the breadwinner, so long as both of them are working together at the end of the day to take care of their family, take care of their home, and take care of each other, that's the only thing that really matters.
Yeah, completing the mission as a team.
That's the problem, though, isn't it, Lucifer? Is that somehow some people have convinced themselves nowadays that it's not iconic to protect your home, be the guardian of your home, to feed your family, to be able to look down at your beautiful children and stuff. This isn't iconic to me. That's epic. You know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what life is about, actually being able to be surrounded by people you love and take care of them and protect them. What's the problem?
Yeah, because it seems women have replaced the man with government. Now government will take care of the kids. Government will provide and fill in that role.
Seems that Skyworks is asking, iconic? What do you mean? He means traditional. The traditional position of a man is the protector of the home, the breadwinner, the hunter, the person who goes out and brings the meat home for the tribe being the family. And that's what he means by iconic.
I'll tell you what. If you had the choice between working in some corporate office where you're making fucking ridiculous amounts of money, or being able to wake up and hearing the little pitter patter of your children running across the floor and diving on you to give you a big hug and saying "Daddy," I'll tell you what, there's a big difference between what's iconic and what's not, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think we can have both. We can have the corporate jobs and we can have the family. It's not like we have to pick one or the other.
How though, Darth? If you're working all fucking day and being held over and all this, and then you got to get on a fucking plane to go home and all this shit, when do you ever have time for the kids and the wife?
Well, my dad used to travel all over the world, and he was corporate sales, and he'd be gone sometimes 3, 4, 6 months at a time. And sometimes he'd come home and he'd only be home for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And so I was left at home with my adopted mother. And when he was home, we spent as much time as we could together. And, you know, yeah, we fell out of favor with each other when I turned 18 and I moved out. But at home, we were, you know, I loved my father. You know, he was a great man. And, you know, I've always had the utmost respect for him. But, you know, when you're going out and you're doing what you need to do, that coming home, even if he was only home for 2 days before he had to go back out on a plane, those 2 days we made absolutely worth it. We would sit down, we would spend time together, and we would watch Star Trek, or we would watch Doctor Who. And I'm not talking the newer Doctor Who, I'm talking classic Doctor Who. And yeah, the OG Doctor Who. Because my dad, he was from Glasgow, so BBC was one of our favorite channels in the house. You know, we would do things together. We didn't always mow the lawn or anything, but we would just hang out together and just be a family. Those were the good times. We had our rough times too, but those were the good times, and that's what I choose to remember.
Yeah, but I bet if you could, this whole conversation we've been having about time travel and changing things, I bet if you could get some more time and things were back in those good times, you'd want it, right? You'd want more time to be able to hang.
Yeah, but
no,
just a little time that you had?
Because there was other things surrounding that. See, I have good memories of my father, but I have very bad memories of my mother. When my dad was home, I was safe.
Oh, yikes.
Well, that gives even more reason why it would have been better if he was around more, right? I hope it's not too personal what I'm saying. I'm just, putting it together here.
I guess we can speak generally.
Yeah, if things were different, I would have tried to go on the business trips with him instead of being at home. But I didn't have that luxury. My mom had an accident at home when we were living in Virginia and somebody needed to stay around. She had gone through brain surgery and she was virtually an invalid at that point and needed somebody there to take care of her while my dad was traveling around.
This Sky person over here says, biblical, you mean relating to the Bible? And he said something about iconic versus traditional. Why do people devalue the traditional values? I don't get it. Why did they say that?
Something tells me Skyworks 600 is an atheist.
They all usually are, but I think Yeah, but I think he's associating the traditional with like monarchist conservatism.
Yeah.
In which,
Well, what would y'all rather be doing? Be honest with me. Would you rather be out fishing with your dad, or would you be rather waiting for him while he's up in some corporate ass fucking building when you don't know when he's coming back?
I mean,
seriously.
of
He
course,
says he's a non-theist. You're an atheist, dude. Quit trying to spin the word. You're a fucking
Good job
atheist.
for trying to lie.
And I have no time for fucking atheists who want to try to say, I'm a non-theist. I'm a non-theist. Go take your satanic temple ass elsewhere. I have no time for you.
Yes,
Hey,
you are.
yes,
You're an
sir.
atheist. Shut the fuck up, Skywork 600.
I mean, sure, I would love to go. Go.
Brett, you may
go-
want to do something about him. Otherwise, I'm going to go off and say something that'll literally get us kicked off.
All right, let's give him a timeout. Send him on his way for a little bit. You're getting annoying to people.
Yes, thank you. He needs
I mean,
to a little time out.
to your question, sure, I would love to spend more time, but you gotta. We also got to realize what actually created the world in which we can actually spend the time, and it was corporatism. It is because we spend at these times at these factories that we were able to build the world in which we can actually enjoy that time, because we can't really enjoy
You
our
don't need
time.
a factory or a corporation in order to go fuck fishing with your kids. What you talking about, Willis?
But who made the fishing poles if not a corporation or a company?
Well, motherfucker, if he's smart enough, can fucking put a stick together with a string and fucking head out there in a shitty boat.
Yeah, but this becomes the problem of a pencil. Can one person make a sandwich or a pencil from scratch? No, because it takes a lot of people a lot of specialized labor from all across the world to bring that one little thing together.
And there you go. That's whenever groups of family members get together and they go out and they hunt some animals, bring them back. It don't take a factory or some bullshit in order to
But
cook
that's
up
the thing.
deer.
We can't all be hunting. We can't all hunt deer, because if we all did that, there would be no deer within like a week.
Are
And
you
so
kidding? Deers fuck like crazy. They'll make plenty for us.
Yeah,
to shoot.
but humans eat like crazier.
We got so many
Especially
fucking
Americans.
deers where I'm at. They're literally attempting suicide by running out the fucking highway.
Yeah, but it just wouldn't. It wouldn't keep up. So we still need that corporate foundation to actually provide the world we enjoy.
I don't know. I don't think that we need all these big fucking cities and all that in order to have good social relationships. But
Well,
here
they
I'm telling you,
don't
I'm telling you how I feel about whenever I'm dealing with my own kids. As far as my own family goes, I got a shit sandwich with no bread, but for that.
Don't forget, like back then, a lot of them did mostly spear fishing or using nets to catch fish during the time before even fishing poles even existed.
Yeah, but that was for survival, not fun.
That's some people
Thank you,
take
Speed
it out.
Roman. I appreciate that.
All right. So what else is on you guys' minds?
I mean, I think the topic of paradise is something. I think we got off that. I thought it was interesting because, for example, if you ask a human, he'll give you his definition of paradise. But if you ask a wolf, and you ask the wolf, what is your definition of paradise? I'm not sure you guys seen the anime called Wolf's Rain, and it's an anime about these wolves trying to find paradise, and like they have this moon goddess who's gonna take them there, and so once they get to paradise, it's just a wolf's habitat. They have deer to hunt, a field to run, a lake from which to take water, and that's their paradise, and they're with the herd. To them, this is paradise. It's being with the herd, doing what wolves do: hunting, killing food, running the fields. And so what is paradise to a human? Well, we can deduct that from the very creation of the human. That is
I
to
think
have
paradise for a human would be being with the people that you care about most, those people who have brought you the most happiness in your life. in the place that brings you the most fondest memories. It doesn't have to be a grand palace. It doesn't have to be a beach on the ocean, but it could be as something as simple as your grandmother's kitchen, to be sitting there constantly, just hearing your grandmother tell stories. Or it could be with your closest friends or your loved one, someone who you loved, in a fictional world of your own creation. What I've always told people is watch the movie What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. And if you want to know what paradise is, that is probably one of the best examples of paradise in the world. That movie right there. Because it shows you, in my opinion, the afterlife as it truly is, and it's molded by you as an individual. So paradise in that movie, Paradise for Robin Williams, was a painting created by his wife in life. But it was worth nothing without her. And when she committed suicide, in order for his paradise to continue, he had to go find her in hell. And his paradise was with her. It didn't matter if it was in misery or in joy. As long as he had her, she was his paradise.
Exactly.
And
Now that's definitely, in my perception, a paradise, being able to have the world basically the way you want to be with the people that you love and care about. I remember whenever I was a former non-believer, and I used to ask religious folks, what is heaven? And they gave me this whole bit about roads being made out of gold and glass castles and all this shit. And I'm like, that doesn't do nothing for me. That sounds like I'm living in fucking Candyland. I want to be able to be with the people I love. That's what would have brought me the happiness.
If you watch the final episode of Supernatural, who here's a Supernatural fan?
Oh, yeah.
Winchester. Oh yeah,
love that show.
The final episode, what was heaven for them? It was just simply being together. Sam got to live the rest of his life while Dean died. But when Sam finally died as an old man, surrounded by his loved ones, his family, his grandchildren and whatnot, he went back and he was with his brother again, reliving the happiest time of his life, just cruising around and baby, doing what they do.
There you go.
Yeah, and I also agree that concept too, because kind of like I was stating before, like what is the definition of a nation if not the people that make up the nation? And so paradise must also be defined by people. Any input there, Black Metal?
Sorry, I was a bit tired. But
Nah. I think we exhausted. I mean, does anybody else have a topic? Or is that I think we exhausted the topics for tonight.
Well, unfortunately for me, because the air conditioned heater's out, it's fucking blistering hot right now. I'm sweating my fucking balls off. So my concentration isn't what it usually is.
I know, yeah, he can get to you.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's fucking miserable. And what's terrible, it's going to be hot right now, but in the fucking morning, it's probably going to be like 45 degrees and be fucking having frostbite of the nuts.
Hey, come live in my state. It's even more colder.
Oh, man.
Fuck that shit. I live in cold state. I lived up north long enough. I don't want to deal with any more white sky poop.
Well, it's actually not that bad right now. There's like barely any snow right now, actually, surprisingly.
You had to mention the damn 4-letter word.
It's still winter, still technically.
That is a cuss word here.
We all say
You need to
cuss words.
censor him. He's cussing on the air.
Oh, don't cancel me right now, y'all.
I'm offended.
Oh no, my fucking job is gone. What am I supposed to do? I can't make money and shit. I gotta start eBay like DSP.
As we make an OnlyFans, start selling foot pics pretending to be a trans woman.
What the
fuck?
What the fuck? What? Okay.
Hey, I wonder how much money do you guys think I would make on OnlyFans?
I'm not trans, but $20 is $20.
Oh shit! I don't even know how much.
$20.
Yeah, how much do you think I could make on OnlyFans with the beer gut and everything else?
Probably not a lot.
I'm sure there's like a small niche of girls out there who have daddy issues for a beer gut. But it will be
end up with more guys following me than girls.
It'll be a very dedicated niche though, so they're going to be like uber specific and very picky.
Skyworks says, "Ain't we all calling it how we see it?" I don't know. Whenever I think of an atheist and his limited thought process, I kind of imagine like a fucking cat in a box or something. It sees like 3 inches ahead of him and it's walking around in the dark. It don't really see shit, does it?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, I gotta point this out. It's like earlier he said I am a non-theist. Well, what is a non-theist? I'm sorry, it's a fucking...
Well, a theist is someone who believes in God, and if he's a non-theist and he doesn't believe in it, most likely he's an anti-theist, which those are the ones that fucking make me sick the most.
Yeah, they're all fucking atheists. That's all it is. And I know Speed Romans is in here. He's never stepped on my fucking dick, and so I don't really have much of a problem with him. But, you know, in general, I mean, we've seen people like that who claim that they're non-theists or whatnot, and they're trying to be atheists. And how do they all fucking act? They act like stupid fucking children, dickheads. I have no time for that in a general sense.
Okay, so Skyworks says, yeah.
I don't want to hear about Skyworks.
He says limited thought processes. Yeah. There's billions and trillions of fucking things that are going on right in front of our faces that we can't see because of our limited eyesight and our ability to be able to sense them. It doesn't mean that things aren't there. So to claim if I can only see it, that's the only thing that makes it reality is ridiculous. Could you imagine if Christopher Columbus had that thought process? Well, I can't see fucking America, so it must not be there. No, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ain't I terrible? I'm awful, ain't I?
Exactly.
We make all jokes.
I mean, what's been on the news today?
I don't know.
Trump,
I don't keep up with the news.
I'm pretty sure somewhere somebody got their dick stuck in a mousetrap.
Yeah.
I've been staying away from the news.
Some idiot decided to get his dick strapped in a mousetrap, and now it's so Bentley he can't even reproduce children anymore.
You're going off again. Take your meds.
I've been staying away from the news lately, my man, because I tell you what, every time I turn it on, it's like fucking Armageddon, the end of the world. And then the moment you go to your doorstep and you look out, you see the birds, the green grass, and blue sky. It's all beautiful again. Fuck the news. Depressing.
Yeah. The news has become like the 30 seconds of hate from like 1984. It just watches you get angry.
Yeah, it does, boy. It gets me frustrated.
I was following news all the time a few years back, and it was literally driving me insane. And that's why I stopped watching it. And I've been happier all for it. I keep up with just enough news to stay up to date with basic current events, but I don't go all in like how I used to.
You know, last month I was all over fucking Twitter, but I'm getting sick of it as well. Every time I fucking scroll through to see what's going on in the world, I'm either seeing somebody getting fucked literally or somebody getting shot trying to burglarize somebody. It's like, damn, I've seen 10,000 deaths, 5,000 Pornhub fucking videos that don't belong on there, and I'm just like done with it for a while. Ugh.
On Twitter?
Fuck yeah, man. They got porn on there. They got people being murdered on video, and it's like...
There's this one artist on Twitter, and he's a pornographic artist. I love him. His artwork is absolutely amazing. And he's called Calm. and you can look him up. It's at Calm Draws, and he's got this amazing fantasy artwork that everybody should check out, and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful, but it is definitely pornographic. It's all over Twitter, uncensored.
It better not be furry fucking art.
Oh hell no.
Not all of it's furry. Sometimes it's demons, sometimes it's ghosts, sometimes it's plant people. Yes, I'm serious. Plant people.
Right.
Sometimes it's orcs, ogres. He's got this one character that keeps on showing up in a lot of it. And I guess this character is supposed to be a representative of him going on these adventures. I actually sent him a message the other day, and I'm like, dude, do you have like an ongoing story arc that you have written down of this? Because some of your artwork I would love to write into erotic stories. And he was like, I have some minor things written down, but really nothing too major. I'm not an author. So apparently there is some sort of background story, and I'm like, can I please write some stories of this? This would be fun compared to the shit that I normally write.
Yeah, it's like art inspires art. But there's a reason.
Exactly.
I think, yeah, there's a reason Elon Musk renamed Twitter to X, because he plans in the next years he's planning adding two more X's to that name, triple X.
He said he likes the letter X. I mean, has anybody seen his wife? And she's kind of weird looking, but sort of hot.
Grimes, yeah, the singer.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't really leave much to the imagination, does she?
I wouldn't say she's breedable material either. Because
she's not. She's hot, but not hot at the same time. I don't know how to describe her.
She's pretty, but I wouldn't say she can bear children. She doesn't have Grimes, Elon Musk, I think now ex-wife, ex-girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a singer. But she doesn't really have childbearing hips. She might be pretty, but
she's sort of a stick.
Yeah.
Honestly, if she had a kid, I'd be scared that I would rip her in half.
Yeah.
I don't know how men can be attracted to women that look like upside down mop sticks and shit. Whatever happened to the juicy ladies of the 40s? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do wonder what happened.
I kind of like something on my women that I can grab.
Like the girls from the 80s.
Oh, yes.
Oh, somebody's talking about Crazy Licks now.
Yeah, there is a big difference. The women of the 80s compared to now, my goodness, what the fuck happened?
Exactly. What the fuck actually happened?
I blame the chicken. They put something in the chicken.
Oh,
nowadays, you're scared to touch a woman nowadays because you don't know if it's, a 20-year-old or a 40-year-old or a freaking 12-year-old. They all look alike.
Oh, yeah.
Chemicals in the water is what it is. Remember what Alex Jones said? It turned all the frogs gay.
It does.
Dirty chemicals and water turn the freaking frogs gay.
That's the thing. Chemicals can radically have morphological changes on the body. For example, I think somebody gave you guys know sea monkeys, those little tiny shrimp. Somebody gave those shrimp like Red Bull, and they turned humongous.
Red Bull?
Yeah, he was like just dropping cans of Red Bull into the sea monkeys' water. They got huge.
Those are golden wings and not make them enhance.
Oh, damn.
But no, I really do love the women of the 80s, even of the early 90s. I mean, they were voluptuous. They were curvy. They looked good. They knew how to walk. They knew how to be damn sexy, attractive, and just could draw any sort of man to them. You look at females now of the past 20 years or so, and it's like, what the fuck happened?
They put something in the chicken.
And the women were cooler then too. I don't know if you ever seen Lita Ford before, but she's the type of woman where you say, "Hey, you're sexy." She'd be like, "You too, motherfucker." But nowadays, you say something like that, you go to jail. That's fucking over.
Yeah, you can't even watch Full House and admire the mom of Full House, the one that had the twins. Because nowadays, if you look at that, oh, you're being sexist to her. You can't watch a movie without being sexist now. I say, screw it, I'm sexist.
Base. I am sexist.
We are all
sexist.
I'm
You ever
sorry,
see
I
the
like
band?
pretty
You ever
women.
see the band Heart before, Lucifer?
Mm-mm.
You know
No,
the
have you ever seen the band Rock Bitch?
You
Is
never
that
heard
from
a
the 80s?
song? You never heard a song called Barracuda? Dun 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 Barracuda.
Yes, I have.
That's Heart.
You know, almost heard that song before.
No,
See, Rock Bitch, they're no longer together. It was a mostly all-female band, and they had like one male guitarist on the band. They called him the Beast, and they were a pagan group, but they all sorts of heavy metal, rock metal. But their shows were very interesting because I guarantee you, if you're in the front rows of their shows, wear a raincoat. Otherwise, you are likely to get pissed on. You are likely to get ejaculate on you. Let's put it this way: these women were naked, having sex, and everything else on stage. There was one show, and you can actually look this up, where a guy came with a strap on his head, like his forehead, and they pulled him up on stage, and the lead guitarist for the show literally fucked his head, the dildo on his head, while jamming out to the entire next song. And she's going hard on this dildo and not missing a beat.
So they're basically Gigi Allen, the group.
And she literally called him her favorite dickhead.
like Gigi Allen, but all female.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you remember the band? Do you remember the band, the Plasmatics?
No.
With Wendy O. Williams.
Plasmatics. What the fuck kind of name is that?
The band Burning Witch.
It's an 80s band. It kind of did the similar thing as not as intense as Rock Bitch, but like a bit, edgy on stage kind of thing.
Oh, goodness gracious. I had to open up fucking Twitter. I cannot believe what I'm looking at. Oh, goodness. Look at this. Look at this shit right here. This is the Mandalorian, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this shit. Oh, goodness. This is going to bring people to suicidal thoughts. Here you go. Take a look. Take a look at that, Lucifer. It's going to make you poop.
No, boy.
Look at fucking Pedro. You're not going to believe this shit. It's time for the world to end. Full fucking reset right now.
What the living fuck?
It's called the pretty boy vibe. It's the pretty boy style.
What the living fuck?
Am I right? And now I literally feel like The Last of Us.
I'm sorry.
Isn't that depressing?
I didn't have a lot of respect for
What in
Pedro
the actual
Pascal to
fuck did I
begin
just look
with,
at?
but I didn't have a lot of respect for Pedro Pascal to begin with. I liked him in the character, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know he's woke as shit. He does the
Yeah.
character well, and I'm glad he does the character the way he does because it doesn't reflect on how he is in real life. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. And just 2 scrolls below that. Look at this fucking shit. Hold on. I'm going to show you one more thing. Make sure you got your barf bag ready. This is why I don't look around on fucking Twitter anymore. Right here. This is exactly what I'm fucking talking about. I scroll for a minute.
Oh my God. No.
Am I
God.
right? What the fuck?
Dude.
Am I right?
I'm about to
Doesn't that just make you want to stab yourself in the neck with a dull fucking spoon? Oh.
I regret clicking that link.
Oh, hell no. Get me the fuck out of this shit.
Honey, I need the bleach.
But I think this is like.
Do you guys have whiskey I can drink?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you check out the link, you are going to be proven once and for all that not everything was intelligently fucking designed.
This might be evidence for evolution.
I need bleach for my eyes now.
The world is a vampire. Dun, 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 dun.
But I think this does speak a lot to like the current health of the Black community, because this is not the only woman you see like this. You see this a lot within the Black, community.
People, don't click the link. Don't click the link. I'm warning you. Don't click the link.
Hey, if we're going to fucking have a vomit fest up here, well, they ought to be included.
Don't do it, peeps. It's not worth it. Trust me, you're going to fucking die.
Don't
do it. Don't you do it.
Missing Mott says Calm Draws is nasty too. I like Calm Draws. He draws some good shit. I mean, it's raunchy. It's definitely very X-rated, but at least his artwork is beautiful. But what that link shows is
what is like Condra's like shame? Is Condra's like Shade Man or something?
It's pure evil, and there's no light.
No, Calm Draws. Okay, let me. I'll throw it. I'll throw you a link to Calm Draws. Hang on.
Or is it like who's the guy who drew Sonic Chew? Chris Chan.
Yes, Chris Chan. Yep, I know about that dude. Yep.
I can't believe
what
that.
Going through people's mind when they do that. Somebody's 500 fucking pounds. They look like Mr. Potato Head, and they say, "You know what? I'm going to turn on my phone today and record myself putting my own belly flop in my pants. That'll be fun." What the
That's
fuck?
the worst content you ever make.
All right, I threw the link for Calm Draws in the chats.
All right, I'll check it out.
Calm Draws.
I gotta see that shit. That looks fucking cool.
Oh yeah, he's fucking awesome.
Oh, I believe you, bro. I believe you in that, dude. Hold on. Oh, damn. Alright, the battery already got a good start. Let's go.
And then right under the fucking person with the right under the person with the britches and shit, you got fucking Joe Biden sucking on an ice cream cone.
Joe Biden sucking on an ice cream cone. That is classic.
Let's put it this way. One of Calm's recent posts, he was like, he drew something just because he wanted to draw cum.
Oh, they're actually doing a stats thing. 8% of humanity thinks they can beat the shit out of a lion with just their fist. A lion. You know, like Mufasa, fucking lion? Yes. Boy, these people, they've been watching too many fucking cartoons or something. You get your ass tore up in fucking 1 minute flat.
I used to work on a wildlife preserve when I was much younger, and I used to work with the big cats. And trust me, you couldn't punch out a panther, a full-grown black panther, and not get your ass ripped off. Let alone a fucking lion. A lion will tear your head off, skull fuck it, cram it up your butthole, then anal rape you with a fucking antelope head.
I think there's a video of some guy doing a tug of war with a tiger, and I think people should watch that, like, kind of to see the the difference in power between a man and one of these big cats.
Yeah, even if it's a small ass mountain lion, you don't get in there and try to box something like that. It'll fuck you up.
No, take a look at your damn standard house cat. They come armed to the teeth, literally. Every limb on them, save their tail, is covered with things that'll cut you open.
Yeah, you got something that's like 300 fucking pounds that can move at like 1,000 miles per hour. Think you're gonna whoop that thing's ass? I don't even think fucking Muhammad Ali would be able to handle that.
It's crazy how fast bears can move. They can go like 45 miles per hour. That's a lot of meat. Moving that fast. I can't even barely run like a 13.
Yeah, some people, they underestimate bears too. These big fucking floppy things could catch your ass no matter how hard you run. You know what I've always wondered? Why do people always run in a straight line when they're running from a bear? Why not go around the fucking trees and all that? Make it a little bit, competitive.
You're not supposed to run from a bear. Back away. Keep your eye on the animal at all times. And keep fucking bear spray handy. Be loud, be obnoxious, bang on things, do everything you can to make yourself not appealing to that bear. Because even a black bear, if they decide that they're going to mosey on up to you, they will flay you open. I've seen pictures of bear attacks. I've been in the same pens as bears, and they are no fucking joke.
Yeah, bye. Were you like a zookeeper?
We were a predator preserve. We were one back in the mid to 90s. We were one of the only ones in the United States qualified to handle Komodo dragon repopulation back then, and we had all sorts of predators. It was the International Wildlife Panda Conservation, and so we had everything from wolves to big cats to bears and various reptilians. We also provided a lot of anti-venom to local hospitals, all sorts of things.
That's scary. I couldn't even be like next to a goddamn big cat.
If you're, they're not all that bad as long as as long as you're around the ones that are not going to be re-released. If you're around the ones that are being re-released, you're literally raising them to be wild and distrustful of humans, so that they never bother humans again. They will stay away from humans. That's one of the big selling points for repopulation, to make sure that these animals don't get hunted again, is that they're going to steer clear of anything human for the rest of their lives when they go back into the wild. That's the big successful part. But the ones that can't be released for whatever reasons, be it a medical reason, a deformity, or an injury, or for whatever purposes, they're usually, they're fine around humans for the most part. But never turn your back on a tiger, because even if they're just playing around, they will come at you from your back end.
I wouldn't even be in the same cage with them.
Tell you what, it's definitely a different experience.
Ooh, perfect to put atheists in a cage full of Komodo dragons.
There you go.
Do you know what happens when a Komodo dragon bites you?
Yes, your skin literally rots off because the saliva they use.
Yeah, they use bacteria as a venom.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was the only one that was brave enough to go into the pen, and I got treed by 5 15-foot ones for 23 hours. I don't like Komodo dragons.
Jeez. Did it pay you good at least?
Fuck no, I was a teenager. I did it because I was crazy enough to do it.
The only person.
The only person is the legendary myth legend himself.
After that, they put in a zip line for escapes.
A zip line?
Only then did they think of safety. Like, we'll think about the safety later. He's young and dumb. He'll do it for cheap.
Yep. Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
So
we are all suddenly very quiet. Awkward
I know,
silence.
it's kind of odd for
Well,
an episode like this.
I mean, do we have any
I
more
had to get
topics?
me a spray bottle because I'm fucking burning up.
Go take a cold shower, Brett.
Oh, I probably will afterwards. Fuck.
Go take a dip in the pool.
Do something. I don't know. Put your head in the freezer if you have to.
We live out in the country. The only fucking pool we got is a lagoon.
Well, there you go. Go skinny dipping.
Just
Skinny
go
dip
in there.
a fucking pond filled with shit. You like me.
I don't know.
I don't know what's floating around in that damn thing, but the water's nice and cool.
It's a lagoon. There's turds floating around. Butt canoes. Oh,
That's your problem, not mine.
Do you have a water hose you can use?
I'm not gonna go out and fucking use a hose. I'll just go take a cold shower in a little bit. Yeah, our heat and cold in the water still works. It's a fucking air conditioned heater that pays for.
Okay, now we're just encouraging you to basically cool yourself off now.
By going outside and spraying myself with a fucking hose.
Well,
Okay, so apparently we got all of our commenters coming back from Twitter and looking at all the weird stuff. Tell me, how many of you all decided to follow Calm?
I did.
I don't have a Twitter. I'm glad I don't have a
weird
Twitter.
people in comments. They might have went over there and got sexually fucking aroused. No,
I did with the pictures. Yep, I did.
You did you?
Yeah.
You're like, boy, more cushion for the pushing for me, old boy.
Well, we're the one trying to suggest you to go out, to basically cool yourself off by
There you
using a
go.
lagoon or a water hose.
There you go. So what now, Lucifer? What do we talk about?
Well, I think we pretty much exhausted all of our conversation topics. We've been going for almost 4 hours, so we should probably try to wrap this up here in the next 20 minutes.
All right. Sounds good.
Any final statements on time travel? I got nothing. I don't think it's possible.
I think it's possible. There's more than enough evidence to state that it's possible.
Theoretically,
it's just,
yes.
Is it possible at this point in time? I don't know.
I'll tell you what, the people out in the comments, whenever the show's over, feel free to go over to Lucifer's channel as well as my own. Leave comments about different topics that you think would be interesting to talk about. Give us some ideas. I mean, we got a lot of good ideas, but
Also, that's another good thing. Also, if you ever have questions for me involving Satanism or a satanic point of view, and you would like that question to be posted in the next Cloven Hoof, we have a section in the Cloven Hoof called Letters to the Devil. And this is sort of done in homage to what Anton LaVey used to do in his, he would get letters sent to him and he would answer them in the newspaper. Well, if you want your thing in the next issue of the Cloven Hoof to be answered, go ahead and write us. You can leave the comment down below, or you can write the STS on our website, which you can find the links down below on my pages. And you can ask me all sorts of questions. And if it's a good enough question, you might just see it in the next issue of the Cloven Hoof.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, Missing Mod seems very fascinated with magic. So, Missing Mod, when do you want to do a show where you go back and forth with Lucifer about magic and how it works and all that?
Yeah, let's bring her on.
I mean, we can do a show specifically on the supernatural aspects, because I don't think that's something that really gets talked about. Like Brett said, like, even Christians don't really talk about the supernatural, like ghosts and etc.
Well, unfortunately, whenever it comes to spirits and ghosts and all that, when I'm talking to other religious folks, they usually have this idea that, like I said, you're not actually seeing your dead family member or friend. It's some kind of fucking demon playing with you. So I understand that Satanists have different representation for that. I'm just talking about what other religious folks have told me.
Yeah, because even Christians will sometimes gaslight their kids. Like, no, you didn't see grandma. You were just hallucinating. And if they do admit it's supernatural, well, then it's a demon. But it could never be grandma, trying to comfort the grandchild. I find it weird.
I personally think that the supernatural can actually be proven. I think that the universe itself is supernatural, or at least a result of it.
Yeah, because they can't use the natural to explain, the universe, because there is no natural laws before the Big Bang.
That's right.
Trying to click on Missing Maud's page here, but I can't seem to bring her up.
No, she's got some videos. She's a decent person. Unfortunately, she's got this weird policy where she only allows people on her show that have the IQ of a fucking banana. So I don't get to go on there.
Oh no. No, I don't want to go on the show with a bunch of idiotic atheists.
No, she doesn't just have like atheists. She's got some religious people that are dumber than a fucking box of snot. I'm not hating on you, Missing Mod. I'm not hating on you. I know you just bring them up because they're like the clown at the circus. You throw fucking tomatoes at to make them fall in a bucket of water. But just saying.
Yeah, crazy. I'll have to look her up on YouTube.
No, she's cool.
That reminds me of sometimes we have like a bunch of people going around saying the N-word slur just to get a reaction out of us.
I do gotta say and stuff, and she's probably gonna blush if I say this. She is kind of a cutie pie, so she does end up coming in. Don't like get all weird on her and all that shit, or she'll freak out and run like a squirrel.
Squirrel.
Now don't start saying things like, "Hey, baby, what's up?"
Whoa, what the fuck? Jeez, that more like backfired on us, dude. What the hell?
All right, so I've actually found her channel. Let's see here. Let's see.
Now, when you watch her, you'll see that she's very intelligent and stuff. She's got a lot of good stuff. But some of the guests that she has on there, let's just put it this way. You'd have more fucking fun watching paint dry on the fucking wall than some of the stupidness she brings on there. But she's cool. She's cool.
Oh, yeah, she is a cutie.
Told you. Told you.
Are you making her blush now?
And before anybody says anything to me, because
Your face.
now listen, before anybody, especially religious people, get on to me and say, Brett, you're married to a beautiful woman. Just because one's on a diet does not mean they can't look at the menu. So fuck you.
I like that analogy.
Am I right?
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
I've never seen your wife, Brett, so I don't know.
Oh, she's hot. Hot.
Is she Cindy Crawford?
Let's just put it this way. Whenever I met her, one of the first things I said is, I finally have living proof. And she goes, of what? And I said, of angels. Oh, yeah.
Smooth dog.
It worked. It worked. That was 80s charm, baby. That shit worked.
What a smooth dog, Brett.
Well, speaking of which, your air conditioner is still out. Maybe ask your wife to help you with that.
What is she going to do? Hose me down? You seem to be visualizing that a lot. You're not fantasizing, are you? You need to slow that down.
But no, I mean,
just trying to get a reaction.
She's a cute little blondie. I wouldn't say no.
I told you she's already blushing.
Hey, one of the other things that we do for the Cloven Hoof is we have a very attractive centerfold. So why don't you come on over and we'll take some photos.
I'm sorry. I remember.
Missing Mod is a good Christian girl.
I'm half deaf. I'm half deaf. Did you just say? Because I'm half deaf. I don't know if I heard that right. That you had testicles over there. What was that?
Centerfolds.
Centerfolds. Nude centerfolds.
Missing
Playboy style. It's not raunchy. It's actually very tasteful nude centerfolds.
Oh, okay, that sounds better.
Nah, Missing Mod is a Christian. She's a good old girl.
Oh, that makes it all the better.
Oh, damn.
Oh, goodness gracious. He's got a thing for the saints.
We'll
thanks to you, Brett.
You what hurt? You do what with a mop?
Well, we try to help you to cool you down, but no, you're just refusing. You're just like,
that's the fifth time you've been wanting to see water splashed over my naked body. Are you trying to tell me something?
Boy.
I'm trying to help you out, man, but you're not listening to us.
That boy ain't right.
I said saint, not skank, Missing Mod. Saint.
No, she's talking about my offer of having her pure as a nude centerfold. And they're definitely not skanks at all. They're very respectable women who do that.
Yeah, that's better.
Very respectable naked people. Yes.
Yep. They're respectable but naked.
Oh man, sure. It's hard to get a score. Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right, I think we
Black
can shut her
Miller
down.
forgot his meds again.
Goodness, right?
Shut her down, Britt. Shut her down.
How much meds do we need to give him?
Get overdose me if you have to. No, wait, that's my medication. It's the Satanic Testament.
You know what you gotta do? Get some weights, my guy. That's what I do. It helps a lot of concentration
Oh,
because you
speaking of which, I'm actually going to the gym tomorrow. Actually.
get the heavy weights. Don't do that cardiac BS nonsense.
Oh yeah,
That's what some of my family members do that have been diagnosed with hyperactivity. They start getting all fucking excited and they are having a hard time controlling it. They just lift the weights and that does it for them. Maybe
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, because all you can
Also,
focus
like
on.
caffeine and adrenaline rush, especially from guitar, because I have guitar lessons every Monday.
No, let's go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always do. I play guitar because I have a guitar teacher.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but guitar ends up getting you more wound up. Instead, I remember when I was a young man blasting on the guitar. That just got me more energetic. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Especially after playing like To Whom the Bell Tolls and shit. That gets you wound up.
Yeah.
I was playing Seek and Destroy, actually.
It's a good track. Hell
It
yeah.
is.
I guess it just comes with the territory of going into rock and roll. The spirit of rock.
Yeah, it's just a common when you're a metalhead. It's more energy, more rebellious. It makes you all go crazy.
So apparently foot pictures make her feel skanky.
Wait, what? I was not expecting hearing that already. Jarius, it's like almost 12 at your state. And the original wife is right there.
So
she says I feel skanky thinking about foot pics of myself. That's one thing I guess we could end it with this. Why do you think people get aroused by feet? I don't, but why do you think people get there? Where the fuck does that come from?
Because
it's disgusting.
They have a mental disorder and they're losers who couldn't get the real
But
centerfold.
why would I just don't understand it? Nobody's ever fucking explained why feet are attractive to me before at all.
They're not.
I don't get it.
I can be turned on by almost any body part on a person except the feet. I can be turned on by the nice set of legs, by a nice ass, by tummy, boobs, shoulders. I can be turned on by a lot of things. Feet is my limit. That does not do anything for me.
A missing mod says, Brett, the Guitar Speak song of your brother's. Can I make a video for that song? I'm sure my brother wouldn't mind. You can use whatever material he's got going on over there. Yeah, my brother's got a YouTube channel. Yep, Justin Keane, and he does a lot of heavy metal on his channel.
Oh hell yeah, that's definitely my type of jam.
I stopped promoting my brother's channel. I used to do it all the time because he was getting a lot of these retarded atheists over there, and they would fuck with him and all that. He's a prodigy on the guitar, one of the greatest fucking musicians you'll ever see. But unfortunately, these people are like, oh, he's related to a Christian. Let's go fuck with him. Ah, what an attitude.
Jeez, I bet he has to deal with all these goddamn psychic vampires.
I hear you. Why can't people just go to a mosh pit and shut the fuck up, right?
Yes.
So Brett, I got a quick question for you.
Sure. Anything you want to know? My socks are not matching. Go ahead. There you go.
How much shit have you gotten for how many people are mistaking you for a Satanist now that you've been hanging around with a whole bunch of Satanists?
Well, whenever I was a non-believer and talked to religious people, I got accused of being an antichrist, a devil, this and that. Every fucking thing you can imagine I've been called.
And now that you're hanging around with actual devil worshippers?
Well, the thing with some religious people, they're always going to find something to bitch about. It's a part of their thing. I think it's like one of the tenets of their religion. Thou shalt find something to bitch about.
Hey, welcome to the club, brother.
But you know, technically, and I'm going to say this to the religious people out there who haven't bothered to read their Bible, Jesus liked hanging out with sinners and hanging out with people with this. He wasn't looking to hang out with the snobs and the asshats. Am I right?
True.
Tax collectors,
Be
the
considered a
worst of them
psychic
all.
vampire. Not in the sense that we're talking about here. It's not a nice thing.
It's the worst thing you can be.
Though a better term for it is social vampire.
And I do believe in something like that. I do feel like there are some fucking people I've been around in life where they drain you, where you just feel an aura around them, where you're just like, fuck, why am I in the room with this piece of trash, you know?
All the time, I felt with a lot of certain people, and I'm like, fucking hell, I want to kill them.
I get that feeling all the time when I go to McDonald's or
I don't
Walmart.
think that.
Yeah. I'm like, man, it's fucking draining in here. Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. We got about 5-6 minutes left, something like that, till it's been 4 hours.
We forgot something, though. We forgot something.
For over a decade, the Satanic Testament has garnered praise and hatred from the satanic community. It has been heralded as being written with class and style, and carrying on the legacy first established by Anton LaVey by its fans, and reviled by COS and TST critics for its no-holds-barred approach. LeGivorden doesn't just strike the hammer to the anvil, he shatters it completely, and levels the complete force of the black flame to blast wide the adamantine gates like never before. Take a look into the world of Satanism's lesser understood and spoken about topics. Was Anton LaVey really an atheist? Is there actual sex rights in Satanism? What is the actual satanic political view? Do Satanists actually support abortion? What is the Lex Satanicus? This and so much more are within these pages. Now let LeGivorden, along with a few surprising guest authors, take you on a guided tour of the infernal world of Satanism.
Yay!
Yep.
Yeah,
Go buy my book.
right here, folks.
Go buy my book. You can find it on Amazon.com.
Get this book
about
right here,
$30. If you have questions about Satanism that isn't answered in Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible, or you just simply don't want to listen to Peter Martimore's atheist mumbo jumbo and want to learn the actual history of it, this is one of the books that you might want to pick up. So go pick it up.
And if you're wondering why some people don't have food in the world, it's because this bastard took it all. See?
AKA Nick
There you
Avocado
go.
Jr., basically.
There you go. Amen. There we
Hello,
go.
Satan.
All right. So again, if you want to support Brett or myself, you can go down on our individual channels and hit the donation links. Brett has a whole bunch of them down below. If you're watching this on his channels, or if you're watching this on some of my channels, you can go down and you can click the donation link for the STS. Your donations always help all of us. It keeps the lights on, it keeps everything going, and we definitely appreciate it. If you're curious about buying this book, you can also find the link in my donation, in my descriptions down below, as well as links to the official Cult of Cthulhu and Satanic Thulian Society. You can find all that there.
And folks, don't forget we got pretty t-shirts. Yay!
Yeah! Woo!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Fucking sexy.
Woo, mama!
And she's a hottie. She's
Now,
a
everybody,
hottie.
now listen, everybody's going,
Now,
yeah.
here's my question, Brett. I got a question for you, Brett.
Sure.
Is she hotter than Missing Mods, or is Missing Mods hotter than her?
Well, I can't say either way.
We should
because
have
this is
a
friend of
catwalk
mine.
competition between the two of them.
Oh, that'd be really interesting.
I can't say anything on it because she is married to a good friend of mine who is very temperamental and jealous, and he carries a fucking chainsaw on a regular basis. So here's one of my other shirts. It's called the
No, not this guy. Who the hell is this?
That's TTOR. He's wearing my t-shirt.
He's wearing it backwards.
He is.
Well, he took unfortunately.
Evolution is magic.
He took
it's like magic.
Yeah, he took a picture in the mirror, I think, when he did that.
And so flip
I
it
know
around. I
that
could
well.
flip that picture around for you.
Yeah, we got to do something with that. But you guys get the point. You can go to my store section on the channel. So are we ready to close it up, or do you guys got one last thing you want to throw out there?
I don't. I think I plugged myself enough.
Oh
That did
my.
not sound right.
What the hell are you doing? Come on, you.